What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Common Sense the podcast. Happy to have you guys here with us this week, and you guys give a warm welcome to my good friend. What's up, JR?
Hello, everybody. What's up, my name is Mr. Reed.
I got to get some audience, like, clapping special effects.
Yeah, you need to do some shit. You talking about going to Vegas and shit, and you ain't even got the second camera thing figured out.
Man, why are you bringing
shorts,
up OT, ladies and gentlemen?
I've been saving
He's
this
bringing
since
up some behind the scenes shit. It was a suggestion. It was a literally Jedi mind trick about going to Vegas to see one of our good friends fight, and I just said, let's just do Common Sense live from Vegas. Bam. And then he looked at me like, who gonna pay for that shit?
Yeah.
And
Biz got a sponsor for us or something?
I turned around and took my ass back in the room and started setting shit up, and here we are.
Here we go.
Yeah.
A little whiskey sponsor for that? Or?
Yeah, I mean, we got to do something if we're going to Vegas and doing a show. I mean, shit. Got to get something going there, right?
Yeah, I got a buddy that got a bar down there.
Of course you do.
I think it's called the Hard Hat Lounge.
All right.
He's actually the guitar player for Slash and Mammoth Wolf Van Halen, but his name's
Slash, like him to do with the big ass hat?
Yeah, his name's Frankie. He owns a bar down there called the Hard Hat Lounge.
Nice.
So maybe you can do it from there.
Yeah.
It's one of the oldest bars in Vegas.
See, JR, he's already making. See, you put positive shit into the universe, it comes back.
Crazy
he's
thing
finding a way to make it happen.
And Biz is gonna find us a sponsor for airfare and hotel, and
that I don't know about.
Oh, we flying Spirit. If I had to find a sponsor, we flying Spirit.
You better fly Spirit and bring a backpack.
That means that none of my equipment gonna make it, and we may not even make it.
Just ship it to the hotel.
No, we're flying
that's smart.
That J whatever.
Oh, UJet. There's UJet, and
no,
then there's
that JSV or whatever.
JSX.
JSX.
Yeah, JSX.
Yeah, you getting us a hookup there. We're gonna go big time if we're gonna do this business.
I may know a guy. I may actually know a guy. But anyway, I digress.
So let's get back to it. So for those of you that don't know JR, tell us a little bit. Give us the 2-minute version of like where you grew up, where you're from, what you got going on.
I'm a Texas boy. I was pretty much raised in like the mid-cities area in between Dallas and Fort Worth. And I've been up this way up north for a while. Wife, 2 kids, a lot of bad mistakes, owning businesses, stuff like that.
That seems to be like a common thing that bar owners all say when they come on. That's the first thing they say.
Yeah, we're getting it back to back because Sean was on last week.
Yeah.
You guys were the ones that jumped on. Sure.
It's a tough business. And especially right now with this economy and everything. But it was the next thing I knew. I wanted music to be my career, and it could have been. But when it came down to traveling and leaving the kids at home and stuff, I wasn't built for it. So I had to do the next best thing that I could do, and that's slang drinks and talk shit.
That's perfect, man. That's perfect. So tell everybody a little bit about the music background, because I know that's really where you started off, because like most people that are going to know you on here are going to know you for Will Call down in Deep Ellum, which is where I first met you back even in my early 20s. That was a different setup for you. You were just known all over Deep Ellum, but I think it all started with the band stuff down there for you, I believe.
For sure.
Tell everybody a little bit about that background.
Man, as soon as I turned 18 and we started going down to the local show on Sunday nights, back in the day it was like 97 cents to get in at Trees, and we'd go there and see all the great bands. The rock scene in the early 2000s was just insane. Everywhere you went, there was just so much talent. So after high school, I was catching myself down there, 5-6 nights a week, going to shows every night, meeting people, and back then we didn't even know the word networking really was. That's what we were doing, and just meeting cool musicians and putting shows together, and starting it's such a family down there. Everybody knows each other for so long, and it's like, I don't know, I loved it. So I was sucked into that for a long time, and wrote some records and went on some tours and got my name out there as much as I could, and did some.
What was the name of the band?
The main band was Overscene, and I was in Overscene for
10 years?
15 probably. A long time, yeah. The last time we played together was about 5 years ago. And that was a benefit show, Toys for Tots at Trees. Yeah, that was pre-COVID, so.
You guys gonna do one of those North Texas vinyl things where you're gonna put out one of the albums and you guys gonna do a show for everybody?
Man, I wish. I don't think we're cool enough for them to press a vinyl.
I don't know, man. You guys had a pretty good following back in the day.
And we do. I mean, it's still crazy because, like, Spotify and all that stuff, I mean, we're still, like, I think there's, like, 30,000, 40,000 monthly listeners or whatever. And, like, all the songs, you know, we got the Garth Brooks cover definitely took us to the next level as far as streams go. But millions of streams and, you know, it's crazy. It's pretty cool. It's cool that people still listen to it. You know, we're not even active, you know, so yeah, that's cool. So yeah, I wouldn't mind doing a vinyl press and doing some sort of release because I think people would really dig it. I actually found one of our first records on eBay the other day for like $100.
That's awesome, I was like, man.
I would have bought it, but I have one. I have one copy left, so I'll keep that one.
There you go. I'll have to get on eBay and check this out because I definitely don't have that on vinyl.
This one wasn't a vinyl record.
When a vinyl just sold CD.
See, I think a CD is a record.
Yeah, there you go. Well, you also, man, like, I remember back in the day, like, was it Club Clearview? Which one was it? You used to, like, manage some of those, too, like, and, like...
I used to, and this was kind of after the scene had kind of died a little bit, but I was at Curtain Club for a while.
Curtain Club.
Yeah, I was at Curtain Club for a while, and bartended there for a minute, you know, book shows, and I knew those people forever, so... whenever Whit was leaving to go into the medical field, they had called me up and they're like, hey, we know you're looking for your own place, but, you know, we want a familiar face around here. Why don't you come check it out? And I went down there and slanged a couple nights and got to see everybody that I normally didn't get to see because I'd be up here working at nightclubs and stuff in the northern part of the area. And I loved it. I was glad to be back. You could wear shorts and hats and T-shirts there and be comfortable and make money and see your buddies and see a bunch of good bands and shitty bands play. And and then one day they were like, you know, the front used to be the Liquid Lounge.
Yeah.
And that's where, you know, one day Doug, the owner of the Curtain Club, he came up to me. He's like, man, I know you wanted to do your own thing. He's like, why don't you consider renting out this front space from us and you can remodel it and do your own thing and whatever. And I was like, I didn't visualize it because the place was such a shithole. No offense to any of my Curtain Club people out there listening. It was so old, you know, it was built in 97 and this is 2016 when the offer came, you know, to do it.
Yeah.
So it had already been nearly 20 years old. So, I mean, you can just imagine. It was beat up, but
a lot of great shows in there.
Yeah, just, you know, got a little loan and remodeled it and made it our own thing and changed it to Will Call, and that's where the story began, I guess.
Yeah, because you've had a couple of different places down there, right? Like, didn't you have the saloon?
Will Call's the baby. We do have Elm Street Saloon over on Elm Street. That used to be the Black Swan. That one we just kind of kept in the family because, you know, when it was Black Swan, it was like the greatest bar ever. So I just didn't want like any stranger from California to come and grab it. So we did it, and we tried to do a different vibe there so people knew it wasn't the same thing. And it's been cool. I mean, I've been so busy right now. We're building a pizza spot on the other side of Good Latimer called Good Side Pizza Pub. It's going to be just a little bar with good food, and we're right across from the hotel in the high rise, so it should be a good one. But
yeah, for those of y'all that don't know and have not been to like Will Call, they have amazing food. Like, I'll put their wings up against about anybody in North Texas that I can think of off the top of my head.
You know, and not being biased, because I'm a pretty humble dude, I'll put them up against the top 5 in America. And we'll be somewhere in that number 5. I know someone's better out there. Don't get me wrong, but
they're legit.
I know we crush it over there with the wings.
Yeah. Well, I mean, before we get too far into this, man, like, I want to thank you personally because you and I haven't really got to catch up in a while. But for opening up Will Call when we did Naz's benefit, man, that was huge. It was a big success. Everybody loved it. They had a great time down at your place. I think it was a pretty good day for you guys as well. So, I mean,
I think so. I was sorry I couldn't be there that day.
Yeah.
But, you know, staff thought it was good. And,
yeah,
you know,
man.
a lot of people that, like, it was great. That's how I realized how, like, our network was, because when you were throwing that benefit, so many people that didn't know that we knew each other were hitting me up like, oh, that's so cool that you're doing that. I go, obviously, Naz was a real well-known dude because everybody was hitting me up about it. I was like, oh, okay, this is good. Because a lot of people, I mean, people ask to do benefits all the time, you know?
Yeah.
And, you know, it's not that you don't want to do them. It's just a lot of times, as long as I've been in the, like, music business, you see disappointment in those people that work so hard to throw those at the end of the night. It's like, you know, they depend on bands to bring the people, and the bands really can't, and so it's tough. So I was just glad that everybody was happy at the end of it, because those can be hard. You know, when you really need people to come through, and they don't.
It's tough,
that's
man.
Tough.
It's tough because, like, I mean, that's like the second one that I've done like that for a friend that was battling cancer, and, you know, trying to help them out in a tough time. And, you know, I knew it was kind of stacked against me on that one, because I think we had, like, it was like right before Mother's Day week. It was Mother's Day weekend, I think, if I remember correctly.
There was something in the way.
There was some big holiday that was like that weekend.
Was it Easter?
Or Easter.
Something like that.
I mean, yeah, it was right around then. Like, so you were competing with people being out of town with that. And he's a personal trainer and head of the fitness staff over at Lifetime. So his big group is all people that are, like, really healthy, you know, and are all in North Texas. So to get all of them to come down to Deep Ellum on a weekend and get them out there, like, I knew we were up against some challenges. But it was the same thing, you know, like, Sean was like, why didn't you hit me up? I'm like, because you're the only place that people can smoke inside. Like, if I'd have tried to stuff all these people in there where people are, you know, smoking a pack of Marlboro Reds while they're having their drinks, they'd have lost their damn mind.
I forget Addison still does that.
Yeah. So, I mean, it was, you know, kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't. And it was like, I wasn't going to pull anything off big enough or put the pressure on me, like, because, you know, even Clint was like, yo, man, you find the right day. I mean, I'm cool with you doing it here too. And I'm like, well, shit, you do it at Trees, you're now expected to really bring the heat.
Yeah.
And, like, I didn't want that pressure. Like, people don't realize how much work goes into something like that. I mean, like you said, like, you worry about it of the people being disappointed at your place of business, and yet you're trying to help out because you know the reality of it is, like, I mean, I don't care who you book. I mean, we had Paco, I mean, and a bunch of other great bands, but I mean, like, even somebody that's as well known as Paco in the industry, and he was playing, I mean, he played for almost 2 hours, bro. Yeah. And it's like, granted, I saved him for the end, but, like, I felt bad because most of the people were gone, but everybody that was still hung around got an amazing show from Paco, you know, hanging out at the end of the night. So, you know, it's kind of like you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. Right. You put him on earlier, and then there's nobody there at the end. You know, you put him on at the end, and, you know, there's 2/3 people already gone.
It's hard to predict the vibe for sure.
Yeah, especially when you do it for a long period because you're trying to, you know, do a silent auction and everything else. So, but man, I want to, you know, extend my gratitude to you for, you know, letting us do that and, you know, rock out your place. Man.
Absolutely. I'm glad y'all did, man.
It was a lot of fun, man. We really enjoyed that. Well, let's talk about it. We just mentioned Clint. You know, Clint owns Trees. You know, you guys are real tight. I see you guys hanging out all the time. I mean, how's that been for you, like, the transition? I mean, like, because you were in the music scene, you've been a part of a lot of Deep Ellum. I mean, like, you also have, you have the Everything Ellum shop, too. I mean, you've been a big part of, you know, to me, Deep Ellum goes through this, like, 10-year cycle where for 10 years, if the music's good, Deep Ellum's popping. And then they come in, same owners, they change some names, or maybe it's a few new owners, they revamp some stuff, and they try to, like, you know, market to whatever's going on then. Deep Ellum goes to shit for 3-4 years, and then all of a sudden it's back again. So what's that been like for you and like the relationships and just like, because I know you guys are all really tight down there, the core of what I consider Deep Ellum.
Yeah, I mean, to me, like, Clint's like, he's the jefe, you know what I mean? He's the main man. Like, when he opened Trees again, to me, that's like what gave Deep Ellum
another shot.
It's CPR, gave it another heart again, or a heart transplant or something. But Trees to me is like always like, that's the heart of Deep Ellum. Like, if you don't have Trees in Deep Ellum, you don't,
Deep Ellum
it doesn't seem right. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
That was a big important part to it. And I believe that was like 2008 when he came back and did that.
Yeah.
And that was the start of it. I mean, that started it. And it's, people were like, oh man, there's always 500 people across the street at this place. I'm going to open this spot over here. And then next thing you know, domino effect, everything starts opening up. So, I mean, to me, he's the main man that started it all. And I just, going back to the early 2000s when I was playing gigs and trying to get in and play shows, like back in the day, they'd be like, all right, you can come play Curtain Club on a Wednesday night and we'll give you a shot.
Right.
And you're just like, you want to skip that process because damn well you ain't going to get that many people out on a Wednesday night or whatever. So that goes back to the networking stuff. So like, we had been playing a couple shows at Galaxy Club and we were bringing out people and word gets out. So then other bands want to put you on their shows or whatever. So Down Low was actually the first band that put us on like a big Saturday night.
Good old Down Low. My man Howard.
Oh yeah. That's my dude right there, man. So as soon as they put us on and we played, a Saturday night with them at Curtain Club, after that it was easy. After that we were like on fire. We wanted to do it. So that's where that relationship started. And then it just growing as a person and always playing with them and they were always trying to get out there and tour and make good records. And so, they were just good influences on guys like me that were coming out, because this story I'm talking about, this is 20, 21 years ago. I was 19, 20 years old probably. So then when Clint opened Trees, I was pretty deep into the bar scene as far as bartending and stuff like that. And I was inspired seeing them. So like, 2012, 2013, I started looking for my own place to do a bar. And Clint was helpful at first. There's certain spots he was trying to get me into and introducing me to different landlords to get a building. And he's just always been there. He still checks on me. He still calls, hey man, everything going all good? You need anything? Like, he knows I'm opening the pizza place and I'm like, bro, fucking running out of money and blah, blah, blah. And he's like, well, I got a storage room full of, equipment and chairs and whatever. You want it? It's free. Just let me know. It's like just good people, man. I'll do whatever for that dude.
I mean, and you see that. Like, I mean, it's not like, like, if I go to Trees and it's a show of some bands that is in our circle of friends and everything else, like, I can guarantee, like, if you can break away from Will Call, I'm probably going to see you in Trees hanging out, and we're going to hang out, chill in the crow's nest, whatever, and, like, get to catch up. Or same thing, man. I come down to work on some stuff for you guys for the event or something like that, and, Clint and his whole car group are having brunch on your patio.
I'm not familiar with you guys. Is the live music scene, is it still alive? Is it resurging? Do you still do live bands? Or what is the current condition of live music these days?
I'll let you take that.
Man, it is tough. The scene is tough these days. It's not like it used to be. Along with everything else, COVID killed a lot of shit. I don't know, am I allowed to say bad words on this? Okay.
You can say whatever
you want.
Hell
no, you can't say that shit.
So COVID killed a lot, man. And the COVID also made a lot of bands realize, like, oh shit, man, we're old. We don't need to keep paying for a practice room, meeting up and jamming. And so a lot of bands just kind of deteriorated with COVID. So there's not as many And, I mean, you see it with the mainstream. There's not that many. Now the last couple of years is a little bit different, but over the last 10 years, you don't see kids like wanting guitars anymore. And, like the whole dynamic of music has just changed. So you're not going to have this generation of new musicians coming up because
they all want to pick up controllers and be insta DJs.
Right.
Like, get on my damn nerves.
DJs or just not into music really at all. Everything's so electronic, and you got awesome musicians that come out that make good records, and these kids find out like, oh, you can do that in your bedroom on a laptop. Like, that's what I'm doing. So then you see all your friends in the industry like that work so hard to build these fine art studios with petite floors that make it drums sound good and walls and all this shit, and now you don't even need it all. So then you see the studio guys hurting. So I'm a little bitter when it comes to that kind of stuff, but there is a good music scene in Dallas, and you can.
It's coming back, I think.
The original part of it, not so much. I mean, there's the cover bands out here are huge. These guys make so much money, and there's so many places for them to play.
Yeah.
There's so many like suburb cities in Dallas, Fort Worth area where they can go they can play without getting too worn out. They can go do, Burleson, Texas, Colony, Frisco, so they can go all over and play. But then like when you go down to the Deep Ellum roots and you want to see bands out there, I mean, you still have like the metal scene is still kind of doing its thing. And there's a lot of really good artists that are like more R&B, more funk, just really good. There's some really good musicians out there that are more in that genre, that a lot of guys like our group of people that we know or whatever wouldn't necessarily know about.
Yeah.
But they're out there and they're playing, and that's the difference. Like back when we were getting trained to play, it was like, hey, you play in your city once every 3 months, you promote the shit out of it, you back it out, do it again later on. Like,
yeah,
this new generation, that you can't tell them that they want to play every night. They want to play one street this night, next week they play the next street. Like, they just want to play, and they're cool with that, and that's fine. Like, everybody does their own thing. We all can't do the same thing, but I always talk to the younger bands, and I'm like, man, spread it out. Give your fans like a reason to come by. Like if Limp Bizkit played here once a month, would you want to go see him all the time?
Yeah, I mean,
I probably would, but
that was Freddie Durst too. But you're right. It's like from a DJ's point of view, when you play the same place every week, DJs have different styles, but it's you almost get to the point where you know what he's going to play after this song, after that song. You have sets and whatever. And it does get, if you don't make it some exclusivity or some scarcity to it, then it has no oomph. Like comedians. A comedian doesn't go to a city and do a different set. He's going through that exact same set. So if you see a comedian special and you just seen him in your city, you're going to hear the same jokes.
Right.
Yeah.
But like being with Garrett now for 2 years doing this, and I keep hearing bands and bands and bands and bands, and it just feels like like with cigars, there's a huge renaissance in cigars. There's people that never smoked cigars that are smoking them now. Women, this different thing. Cigars has replaced the golf course, I think, as far as the meeting. But can the live music scene, I wonder, I don't want to call it a comeback, but can the entitlement of this generation, whatever letter it has, I don't know. I wonder what is it going to take to strike the match? Because everything that was comes again.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think it's, this is just my 2 cents on this. From the late 90s through the early 2000s, Dallas's music scene was literally on fire. I mean, we had great bands popping off everywhere. I mean, you had, everybody from Down Low, you had Miser, you had, Dolly Braid, you had Edgewater.
Now, were they just local, or did they actually
these
have
are all
national
bands that came
recognition?
local. You had Flicker Stick, you had, I'm forgetting so many.
They were local, but a lot of the ones that he's naming off, they went off and did their own thing.
They did tour, they sell records. They weren't just limited to these 4 walls, but this was where they were generated from.
Yeah, you had,
Drowning Pool was
Drowning Pool, you had Hollow, You had, I mean, I could go on for days. You had a Benjamin Allen band. You had, I mean, just, you had, you know, the Mad Mexicans.
So, like, are all these guys old and retired and gone? Because you sound like a Dallas Palooza freaking.
But like, that's what's happening.
Music fest that can happen just with everything you just named.
You know, a lot of guys passed away. A lot of them are still doing it. You know, a lot of these bands can get together and do a reunion show and pack it out with a couple thousand people. I mean, like you have
Slow Row, Toadies,
Nixons.
You know, Nixons. I mean,
you guys
like,
just named off 20 damn bands. Like,
but that's what's happened with like North Texas Vinyl. I know I've said this a couple times. Like, I think that's kind of bringing back a renaissance of it because they're re-releasing on vinyl because vinyl's gotten big again.
Yes.
That they're re-releasing these bands, you know, big albums on vinyl again, and that's stirring up all right, our vinyl's getting released. Let's go jam for 3 months, and we're gonna do this one show. And then they either get the itch and they go, I'm gonna do it again for however long, make it or break it again. Or like Flicker Stick's doing that right now.
Yeah.
It ain't the full original band, but it's pretty damn close. And they got some heavy hitters in there too for the people in, like the chick playing bass. She's known, I wish I could remember, you probably know, but like she slams and she's played with a lot of big people. And I mean, you got all this happening, but I think what it's gonna take is a couple other of these younger kids that, I mean, like, you know, you like Terry's kids up in Denton. They have a slamming little band that they played out at the fundraiser we did out there. I wish I could think of the name of it right now, but I'm mind blank on it. But it's going to take some of that because you have JR and I's generation that we grew up with that in our 20s. And like, that was just, I mean, and Deep Ellum was so just hitting back then. I mean, you could go down to, you know, like he was talking about the 97 cents shows and stuff like that, or even when the Edge was doing it, it was like $1.02, and you're seeing Nickelback, Deftones, Smash Mouth, like, I mean, big ass bands playing in, you know, Club Clearview and Trees, and you know, it's mind blowing, man. Because you're in a, you know, Gypsy Tea Room was big back then, and you know, Incubus was doing acoustic shows at Gypsy Tea Room. I mean, I saw Prince come in after a concert one time and play Blues Cat Blues or whatever, and just like walked in and started jamming after he just played at like Reunion Arena.
He does that a lot, though.
I mean,
I've
like,
seen him walk in the spots and he finds a hot spot because he's a true musician.
He doesn't
love of the music.
You get Papa Roach or, you know, whoever down there playing.
That was my bad.
In essence.
I've seen Papa Roach at Trees.
Yeah.
I've seen bands like that. And it's, you know, it's cool. You know, now I'm older and I see those bands still, and you know.
Yeah.
Last time Papa Roach played here, they played at
McKinney or something.
Allen Event Center.
Yeah.
And those dudes are just, man, they're just cool dudes, like just humble. They were awesome. I took my daughter to see it. And she's 16 now, but took her to the show and let her see what it was, and just so she could feel that energy, because I've taken her to shows of like people that she likes and stuff, and I was like, you got to see this guy rock a crowd. So I took her to see Jacoby, and you know, afterwards Tony Palermo, the drummer, good buddy of ours, he came over to the house because we live near Allen, you know.
Yeah.
So it just good times. It's cool that I'm older now and I'm not like. I can still be in the music scene and go visit all these dudes, and I'm not trying to like sell myself, you know. I'm not like, hey man, listen to this new record I put out. I'm trying to go, you know, you guys got any openings on this next tour? Put me down, you know. I don't have to do that anymore. And now it's just cool, you know. That's
connect on a different level.
Yeah, it's like a totally different level, you know. And I love still being involved in the scene.
Well, yeah, and you do a lot for that. I mean, like you have Paco, excuse me. You have Paco down at your place all the time playing little sets and stuff like that. I mean, you had Cameron and them playing. Oh, I really wanted to go to that show. I just met Cameron about, I don't know, 6-8 months ago. And
he's one of my best homies, man. Shout out to that dude.
if a band is gonna bring it back down there right now, man, I think Cameron and them are.
He's staying true to it,
on
man.
fire, man.
He
that Nirvana cover is fucking sick.
Last year they put out a bunch of different singles, and one of them specifically was the Room 101, and it just fucking jams, dude. And I wrote Cameron because me and Cameron pretty much the same age, so we came up together in the scene, and I hit him up and I was like, you can't make good records in your 40s anymore. And then I put Cameron, hold my beer.
Yeah.
It's like, he's just still killing it, dude. I mean, they're writing music now that's just better than when they first started. And that's hard to do, but man, they practice all the time. They're always writing, and their live show's still good. They don't look like a bunch of old dudes up there doing it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I hope that, people, rock used to have like this age limit on it. Like, oh, if you don't make it by 30, you ain't gonna make it. And that's just that. I don't think that and that's part of the change in music as well now. Like now now there's no age limit. You can be older and make it. There's no weight limit anymore. Because there used to be, every time we'd cut a badass record, producer would be like, hey man, this might be the one. When you get back home, you need to hit the gym, you need to lose some weight, you need to do this, And now you see like Jelly Roll and Luke Combs and Teddy Swims and Lizzo and all these artists that are overweight and just badass at what they do. And it didn't matter if they look a certain way. So now it's acceptable. And,
I think the only one was the dude from Bowling for Soup that was the big guy that, wore a tutu and shit. Like, that's the only, one back then. Like,
so, yeah, it's just, the scene is just, the music scene has just changed now. And, now, most of these artists, even the ones I just named, I mean, those dudes are close to 40 years old and they're barely getting their big break, So that's the good thing about the new generation of music and listeners and everything is, their ears don't have a visual of what they expect, All
right, before we dive off any further, because I'll forget and then I'm going to get beat up about this, what we smoking, what we drinking. So, JR's kind of a novice but likes cigars, so I had to go, and he gave me the most bland answers too when I was asking the cigar questions.
I was really busy when you hit me
this fucker. But so we are smoking the Atabey Sabios, which is one of my go-tos. This is something I smoke pretty regularly when I feel like spending decent money on a stick, because these things aren't cheap, but they're really damn good. It's Nelson Alfonso. So, I mean, Sabios is here, what we're going with. I mean, what do you think about it, man?
I mean, honestly, when I want to smoke a cigar, this is pretty much the flavor that I like. So
yeah.
So whatever I described to you, this is pretty spot on. So I like this.
All right. He's like, I'm like, how do you like your coffee? He's like, I like my coffee with just a little bit of sugar. And then I forget what else I asked you, but you gave me just enough that I could all right, I can work with this. I kind of know where you're at.
I kind of gave you the Beastie Boys answer.
Yeah.
I like my coffee with sugar and cream, or how's it go? I forgot. Anyways, that's what. The Beastie Boys song on.
Man, I can hear it right now. We're gonna jump back to that. And then as far as drinking, I'm rocking with the Iron Root Harbinger Cigar Blend. This shit's amazing. If you can find it anywhere, go get it. He's drinking an old fashioned with the cigar blend.
And I gotta say, it's really good. It's really good. Was it Ziggy? What was it?
Yeah, Ziggy. Or no, Twiggy.
Twiggy, my bad.
You got me with Ziggy now.
Shout out to Ziggy from Andrews.
Yeah.
No, this is really good.
Yeah, Twiggy knows her stuff back there, man.
Yeah, this is a good
Too
one.
bad Man Bun isn't here. Yeah, your shout out, Jacob. You could have made him the pink drink, and you guys could give me more shit about that. Or
no more pink drink
since he's on here and he's popping up. And what's up, Sean? Sean says hello, boys. What's up, Big Bill, or should I say Jose? I'm just fucking with you.
Big Bill's on there?
Big Bill's on here.
That's
he
a legend
said, what's
right
up?
there.
He is a fucking
legend right there.
That guy's been serving me drinks since I could drink.
Pretty close to me, too, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I tell everybody he's my dad when they come into the bar. He gets
Love
mad.
it. Love it.
Somebody is related to Deborah Lopez. Who's that? She said, hello, cuzzo.
That would be me. That's my cousin. I figured,
so I'm looking at you because I know.
Yeah.
Shout out to her. And she just got married.
Congratulations.
To Corn. Shout out to Brax Windows if you need your windows done at your house.
Yeah,
Hit them
there you
up.
go. Yeah, no. And, man, if Big Bill was here, I'd have him make me the damn drink he makes me at your place all the time because I told him, same thing I told him, and this is where Bill's way cooler than Jacob. Because I told Jacob, hey, man, I don't feel like drinking whiskey just straight today because that's my normal go-to. I was like, give me something refreshing, man. Like, I've been out in this 100-degree heat all day. Like, give me something refreshing. This son of a bitch makes me like a pink whiskey punch drink and puts it in like a fruity-ass like martini glass. I'm like, all right, man, I'm cool. I'll roll with it. And it was damn good. I tell Big Bill the same thing, and he makes me this slamming cucumber tahini-rimmed like poolside wet dream of a drink. And I'm like, yo, I'm in. Like, he just laughs now. He goes, you want one of those? And I'm like, yep, that's what I want, bro.
Is that the name of it, poolside wet dream? Because it kind of fits the.
I mean, it should be.
You fit, right?
Yeah,
you know what, Bill? You can take that. If you want to call it the Bill's poolside wet dream, I'm good with that. JR said he'd put it on the menu. We'll both take another. And
this was good.
Yeah, I mean it's solid, man.
Like, you got a lot of people shouting out, man.
Yeah, you got the fans on here. He even had Don. Old Don Brooks showed up in full fucking gear just to see JR today. I mean, I was like,
you know what? I left off when we were talking about good bands back in the day because Download put us down. But Don used to manage Altered. And Shadow Don was one of the first dudes I ever met in the scene, and they had like 2 big singles on the Eagle back then, and I didn't know them, like 18, 19 years old. I think they're fucking rock stars, and they were playing a live acoustic remote show with the Eagle at Hooters and Grapevine.
That sounds right up Don's alley.
Me and my boy Goose go up there, and they kept talking about, pot and stuff on the radio, and they had to take 420 breaks or whatever. So we roll up there, and my buddy Goose has this huge, brand new, jacked up Jeep, and Shadow comes walking out to the van. We park close to their van and trailer, and he comes by. I'm like, hey man, blah blah blah. Start talking, and give him a little bit, and he's like, oh yeah man, you guys are cool. I was like, hey dude, I'm playing, like I was talking about earlier, I'm playing Wednesday night at the Aardvark in Fort Worth. You should come out. He's like, oh, okay. Well, dude, the Wednesday night on Fort Worth, Shadow shows up. And he came and checked us out, liked us a lot, put us down, and that's how we met Don. And Don was managing those bands back in the day.
Yeah.
And he had us. Don had a good thing going on, man. Don's always been a good dude to me, so I appreciate.
I've done everything,
man.
Dude.
He was a cop,
he's
a music manager.
I seen him today in his full garb. I literally kind of went back in the corner and made sure I didn't have any warrants before I came all the way in the room.
I think he works for the cartel or something.
Dude, seriously, inside track, man. He is.
Yeah. Well, we laugh about it all the time, man. We lived in the same neighborhood. We were both in Deep Ellum constantly at the same time, and I joke with him, like all the time, because he looks like God, what is it? He looks like, what's his name in Clerks back in the day. He was always wearing his trench coat, and he had that like longer hair and shit. And I was like, you look like Dante from Clerks back in the day. No wonder I didn't hang with you, man. I wouldn't have like been seen near you. And we joke about it and stuff, but like we met because of my new neighbor, and I went to one of his friendsgivings. But like we were doing the same stuff and hanging out with the same people. Like we had to have crossed paths back in the day. It's the same thing. Like you, like I remember you from like Curtain Club and stuff like that, and I'm seeing you.
Yeah, that was the
and
same
like
thing with you.
down low, like because Howard's my boy. Like when they got their first thing where Don got him on like Good Morning Texas or whatever, I got down there that morning and rocked out with Howard, and me and Howard instantly became friends. And then I lost track. When I got out of the music scene at about 24, I stayed away for about 10 years. And, you know, and then my wife and I are literally going to the armory for an old fashioned, and we, you know, Howard's standing out front of trees, and I just see him, and I started running towards him, and he just yelled out, "I ain't doing any Jaeger with you tonight," and then gave me a hug, you know. And my wife's like, "Oh, so all that shit's true?" I'm like, "Yep, all that shit's true."
So, forgive my ignorance, because I've only lived here 8 years. So, were you lead singer? Did you play an instrument? What was your role in your band?
I was the lead singer.
Lead singer.
Yeah,
so you was the front man.
Front man.
You was the guy at the front. You still carry your tune the way that you did back then?
Give me a couple of drinks, man. I can get you.
And it's on and popping?
I can serenade you up, bro. No,
see, that's what I'm talking
Yeah.
So I know when I
pull
come
that
down to
panty
the
dropper
spot,
out.
I'm going to be like, where JR at? Yeah, let me get this.
Give me that Garth Brooks cover real quick.
Yeah, no, I was just raised on good music, man. Good melodies, good. And I just
That's the conversation we were having before we started the show, man. Just it's so many things out there, any genre, whatever. Just I miss Brand. I turned to the BET Awards like 3 weeks ago, and this chick, Sexy Red, came on, and she went to go sing. And my wife had to tackle me because I literally tried to throw a shoe through the TV.
Man,
it wasn't worse than that national anthem at the Home Run Derby.
Dude, I refused to watch that. So they had. I was here at the lounge and I was doing something, so the sound was off and I didn't hear it. Then it was on the news the next morning. She was apologizing, so she was drunk and da 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 da. I haven't heard it yet. I heard it was so horrible that. It's a train wreck you don't want to watch.
This is where one of those moments where I wish we had like the double camera and you could like be pulling up like your screen and we could pull up.
I'm working on that because I want everybody to hear what it is.
You could like have that shit playing for the people. Bro, it's the worst national anthem I've ever heard in my life.
And they didn't cut her ass off. They let her keep going all the way to the end.
I saw a thing where it said, my wife was showing one the other day. It said, she was reading, so Fergie was like, "Hell yeah, thank God." She done. Fergie's not the worst anymore, man. But I feel bad for that girl, man, because I ain't gonna lie. Like me, I love alcohol, of course. It's what business I'm in. I've done some stupid shit like that. I've done some things where I think I'm, you know, King Kong and I can perform, and then you do it, and you're just like, man, I just
alcohol's telling you in your mind you sound
you think,
but the reality of the playback is something totally different.
So I mean, you already in that situation, singing in front of that many people in a place that big, you already can't hear yourself in the first place.
Oh God.
Yeah.
So for her to go out there and she can't really hear her head voice, and
she didn't have her monitors in her ears. Like you said, her head voice. That doesn't make sense.
She was hammered. You know, she was.
You can tell when you go back and listen. I thought it was just an excuse.
I watched it, I was like, oh yeah, she's hammered. You know, I've been doing this for 20-some years.
And the crazy
thing
is, there was no handlers to stop her. Nobody kind of observing her.
No, and that's the biggest stage that girl's ever gonna probably get on.
Oh, she's done.
And like, you know, it's sad, but it happens. I mean, I look back at like year one, especially when I was super nervous when we first started this. Especially if I knew the people and I had my, you know, because you could getting friends on and stuff at first too. I was just pounding drinks, like, because I was nervous as shit.
Right, 2 hours
later.
later.
Like, I hadn't done this. Like, as much as I want to say I wasn't nervous, I was still nervous, you know.
Beginning of the show, it's welcome to the Common Sense Podcast. And show, oh, yeah, I'll see y'all next week. Bye bye.
Yeah.
It's like,
hour two, no sense.
Yeah. We had no sense by the end, bro. For sure.
Oh, man.
That's dope.
That's funny. Yeah, it did it. So I feel bad for the girl. And I mean, she's in the country music market. Country music market's very forgiving, so
yeah,
I don't think her career is completely over.
She'll be all right.
She should be okay. I mean,
she's gonna have to give a Whitney Houston-esque performance though when she comes
be
back.
able to do that, man.
She is definitely not gonna.
She's gonna have to hit a couple home runs. She's gonna put a uniform on or something because man,
I feel bad for her. I really did.
I'm gonna watch it after the show today. I'm gonna go ahead and buck up and just see how bad it was. I just think.
Well, it's funny because like the first 30 seconds you're kind of like, you know, and then it's something kicks in and you're like, oh damn, girl, you shouldn't have done that. Like, man, I felt bad for her. That's a big stage to be on. You know, she's probably $1.15.
Yeah,
you know,
so like I said, I could see her on the screen, but
you know, she probably thought, you know, a couple.
She probably got up there at noon for like. You know,
and just been throwing them back
publicity.
with all the stars.
Yeah, and you know, she's just, you know, I feel bad for her though. But
so, how much live music do you have live music still at Will Call or any of your spots?
I do. I don't do it all the time. I mean, on Wednesday nights, I usually keep like acoustic artists in that, you know, got great voices that can bring in some people from the streets. I do have a back venue at Will Call, and we're gonna be using that a lot in August. We got a lot of good bands playing in August, and I would like to do it more, but like you seen us just now, how we were just naming off bands like boom, boom, boom. And we didn't even get to 30% of what it was.
Yeah, not even close.
But nowadays, bro, like if I'm trying to book shows for, I used to be able, like Curtain Club days, I could sit there and I could literally like plan out a calendar for the whole month for every Friday and Saturday. And I could do that all in a day or two. You know, book all the bands. We're talking.
You had that many in your roster.
And big bands, bro. Not
you had that many
bullshit.
to do with, you know. Now, I mean, like, dude, you tell me to name 10 bands that I can book right now, and I'm like, I'm at a loss for words. I can't think of them. Like,
well, what is your audience like? What is the makeup of? Because this is something else we talked about before the show. It's like as a DJ playing for the crowd that's in front of you. The makeup has it changed over? I mean, everything has to evolve. I get that, but what would you say the type of patron that comes through there? You know, the makeup of it. Are they susceptible to the live music? You kind of like, no, you know what? Let's take your bar out of it. Give me Deep Ellum as a whole. Does Deep Ellum have different type of pockets, or is it a vibe that the whole area shares? Because I don't go down there that much because it's a freaking 40-minute drive.
I hear you. And there's just so much. I mean, you got a place like Three Links, which is like a big part of Deep Ellum. You know, they're more considered a punk rock venue, but every Tuesday night they have one of the best R&B shows you can go see. Like, they have, it's called Collab, and you just have all these badass musicians going up there just
like a
you got a new nickname.
I don't want to call it
you
open
also
mic,
get
but
Ziggy
like,
now.
that was my bad, no offense, but the cocktail's good.
Perfect, thank you.
So there are different, like just it's not just one type of vibe. You can get a little bit of
You can get a little bit of everything, man. You go to the, Commerce Street, you're gonna have the Free Man. The Free Man's gonna have, R&B and jazz and fusion bands, like really good bands over there. And then you go to like places like Ruins has a music venue, and they're doing all kinds of rock bands, hip hop bands, whatever. They also have Armory as well. Armory and Ruins, same owners.
Yeah.
And on Sundays, they created a vibe that's just unreal with a group called Brand New Funk, and you got to go check them out on a Sunday. It's on a patio, so take some cigars, whatever.
I'm already a fan.
But it's an old school
I'll go with
DJ. I mean, he's cold. I mean, he's old New York cat busting out, great hip hop.
The real, yeah.
And then he's got a drummer, and the drummer is just, I mean, they're a dynamic duo, man. They're killing it, You know
what? I've seen Instagram videos with them too.
Probably.
Yes, that it is. It's amazing.
Yeah.
I know exactly who you're talking about. I've seen that, and I was like, I don't know no drummers because I definitely would bite the shit out of that.
Yeah, dude. You go check that out on a Sunday, bro. They got a whole vibe going on over there.
So do you find yourself do you need to be innovative and keep up with things and stay in Tyler's Trinity? You have your lane that you just stay in, it sticks and it works.
I like to, if people have their thing going, I like to let them do their thing. You know what I mean? Like, especially in Deep Ellum, like, even when I opened Will Call with a restaurant, I'm like, all right, well, I'm not going to do burgers here because I can tell you where to go get the best burgers in the neighborhood. I'm not going to step on their toes. They already do that good. So I'm going to do cheesesteaks and wings because nobody's doing that out here, And that's what I did. Same thing like with the music. Like, if Bronno Funk's killing it for the Armory and that's their home spot, I'm not going to go bother them and, hey, come play at my place. No, you're on the next street over. Those are my boys that own the place. They're doing great. Like, keep doing your thing, So find your own thing, Like, that's the way I am. I just I don't like to try to, ride on people's coattail or whatever. Like,
find your own lane. And
find your own thing, Like, my thing, like I said, like, he's talking about Paco. Like, Paco's one of the greatest musicians to ever come out of that city. He's such a well-known singer, but
songwriter. He writes for everybody. Like, people don't even know all this stuff.
Right now, he's got a top 40 with Blue October on the radio. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, he's a amazing songwriter, amazing musician.
Almost won a Grammy with nothing more.
Right. If I keep him booked, he's my homie and he gets his bills paid. Just having what little gigs I have helps him pay his rent because he wants to play music all the time. And then it helps me pay my bills because he's so amazing, and this group of people walking by on the street hears him and they come in, and So it's
natural synergy.
Yeah, just that's.
I love that too. Like how you guys network and support each other, and what that's grown into, man. Like I think that is the essence of what is bringing back Deep Ellum. I mean, like I know it's gotten a little bad again, and people, you hear on the news, and people are scared to go to Deep Ellum again.
But the news only reports the bad shit. They don't ever talk about
right.
the good.
And I mean, like, and you put yourself in certain situations, you're gonna, end up in that situation.
The news is, excuse my language, the news is fucked up.
Yeah,
because they'll do some shit where it's like, for instance, like last summer we were in the same city. Every summer it gets kind of bad. There's always this like young kids that just
that's
cause ruckus in every city in America.
I'm from Omaha, Nebraska.
Right.
Every time I go home, what happens?
Yeah.
I'm sending him shots of somebody just got shot. Somebody got shot.
Well, it's a couple days ago, some dude got shot and killed outside of Victory Park over there by American Airlines Center.
Yeah.
And I told my wife, I go, I bet you it was fucking kids that did it. Oh, next day the news comes out, a 15 and a 16-year-old girl.
Man, that's
Since when do girls need to start rolling strapped up? You know what I mean? Like,
you'd be surprised.
Or
stuff
even
like that is just
over in the neighborhood. Like, I mean, that dude walked up and just like slammed that dude with, I don't know, it was a bat or a stick, and just like
it was a rod. It was a rod or
some
something.
kind of stick,
random, super random.
Just walked right by and just clacked this dude. Like, I mean, it's crazy. But it happens everywhere. It ain't just Deep Ellum.
It happens everywhere. Like, but I was back to what I was saying before I got sidetracked. Is like I remember last summer there was like 10 murders in Dallas or whatever. Well, only 2 of those were reported in Deep Ellum, but the newspaper and the media, they put a picture that says, of the Deep Ellum sign.
Big, large, tight.
Put the skyline of Dallas or something in there. Why do you gotta throw the neighborhood under the bus like that?
We all know how it is, controlling narratives and things like that. And people, and they don't give a damn how that affects your bottom line and your reputation, because the bad in this business always outweighs the good, but you don't hear enough about it.
Yeah. And that's just everything in life. That's like when you're a kid, you remember, you forget about 10 good things your parents did for you. You remember the one fucked up thing, it's just.
Yeah, that's people.
Well, let's back it up on
life
that.
in general.
Yeah, that's a good point to ask this question. Let's back it up. So you went from, I'm going to have a career in music. I'm getting in the Deep Ellum scene. I'm meeting these people. I'm getting myself booked. I'm slanging drinks here. I'm booking bands here. I'm networking. I'm doing my full thing. But then you get this idea in the back of your head, which I know there's a lot of people that have that, like thinking owning a bar is cool, or I want to open a music venue. I mean, I'm speaking for myself right there. Like, I want to open a music venue someday. I've said that since I was in my 20s. And, you start thinking about that. But you took the jump. So break that process down for everybody. Like, maybe there's someone out there that's like us in our 20s that all of a sudden, like, man, like, cool, like I want to own a spot in Deep Ellum. Like how did you make that happen? How did that come from the idea to JR has will call?
Well, when you're doing music, everybody's like, oh, you got to have a backup plan. What's your backup plan? Because this may not work out, whatever. So mine was, well, when I wasn't like on the road or out playing shows on the weekends or whatever, I'd bartend, and that's how I made enough money to like pay the bills at home. And me and my wife were young parents. We had a newborn at home, and so that was my backup plan. I was like, well, I can slang drinks, and I was good at it, to where I always had dudes that were like, hey man, whenever you want to do this on your own, like let me know, I'll invest in you, whatever. And people still to this day, they say that all the time until you ask them.
Yeah, but until you actually made that call.
Until you ask them, then they're like, nah, man, I can't do it right now. All right, no. So anyways, that's kind of how it started, like I was just like, what am I going to do? I chose music over college, so I didn't have some degree to go out and get like some good job for what my expectations of life were, because, I assumed I was going to be a rock star and buy my mom a house and,
be on MTV Cribs.
Dude, I mean, I visualized all of it. I manifested the shit out of that. And I just, I really feel like we were late to the game. We were late to the game, because I will say we had really good music, really good singles. We could have been something, but, I remember like our first big national tour, we were playing in all these cities in front of thousands of people, And a lot of people knew the music, and you're like, it's flattering, but at the same time, you're like, I'm on this tour because I'm releasing the album, but they all got it because you could download it from the internet and have it. So
Napster.
When we're out selling $10 CDs at the end of the show, trying to get some gas money to get to the next town, and everyone's like, oh man, I already got the record. My favorite song is blah, blah, blah. Like, well, how'd you get it? You know, I have them right here. Like, these haven't even been released online yet, you know, and that's kind of where I was like, as a businessman and knowing business, I was like, okay, well, this isn't a good business to be in. Like, I mean, now even to this day, I mean, dudes that I know that have sold millions and millions of records that can go out and make 100,000 a show, they're struggling, you know? So that was the thing for me. Like, I was just like, bar business was my backup plan, you know? And I had another opportunity the same time that, I got asked from the Curtain Club if I wanted to lease Liquid Lounge and make my own bar there. Literally the night before, I had got offered a big job at a big music venue to be a production manager there, which I would have made great money at. And I had to pick which one I want, you know? And it was a conversation with my wife, like, are you trying to do this for your ego? And I'm like, no, I think if I was, I would do the music venue thing because then I get to be involved in the scene, and I'm still, you know, still can be like a top dog or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
And the bar thing just seemed easier for me to do. And it was really easy for me to do at first. You know, after COVID, it was a struggle. You had to find new ways and everything like that. But before that, I was like, damn, I made the right choice. Like, we're going to be good. My family's going to be good.
How'd you make that transition though? Like, once you decided, like, you know, did you just have all the money to make this happen? Did you have to take out loans?
Nah,
did you
I just went to a private.
get backed?
I went to a private investor. He fronted the cash. I paid him back like really fast, and then the building sold. And then I was like, "Fuck!" Now I'm starting back at square one again. You know, so I had to go back to him and say, "Hey, all that money I gave you back, I need it back, ×2, because I'm gonna get a spot right next door." That's way bigger and whatever. So that's kind of how it happened, you know, and from then on, it just kind of, you know, the opportunities just kind of come, and there's different ways. You meet people that never really been in this business before and want to get in this business. They need your help. They need your name to do it. And that's just kind of how it happens. Some stuff is just like, in that neighborhood, is just like a sacrifice of love for, like, me and a couple of bar owners got together and did the t-shirt shop. Yeah. You know, and it was like, let's do this. And
is that what turned into Everything Ellum?
Everything Ellum. Like, at first I had this visual in my head that we would just put to, because right across the street is Pecan Lodge, and there was, you know, a line out the door all the time for their barbecue, and tourists are there. And so I was like, man, we need like a knick-knack shop like Austin has, you know, just sell some Texas t-shirts and I love Dallas or whatever. And so at first it was kind of like corny stuff like that, you know, just kind of like cookie cutter BS knickknacks that people would buy. And then we got further into it, and I got Chris Llewellyn involved, that owns Llewellyn's print shop, and he already prints a lot of the artists, and he owns Deep Ellum Apparel. So Deep Ellum Apparel is 60% of the store and Everything Ellum, and Chris runs the store, and he was a blessing to the project for sure. But we did that, and like the landlord that owns the building loves Deep Ellum, loves guys like us that love the neighborhood. Like, we're like, look, we know we're not going to make no money on this. We just want to like give the neighborhood something cool, and that's what we're doing. I mean, I'm wearing a Deep Ellum Apparel shirt right now from Local Menace, and so we just did that. Like, as long as the bills are paid there and the staff that works there is taken care of, that's all we care about. We're not in there profiting anything like that. And that might be like the bad part of me as a businessman, but at the same time, it's like, yeah, you know, it's better than that place being vacant in the neighborhood, you know?
Yeah, you're building the environment.
It's not like I'm there working 40 hours a week and not making any money. Like, we have a staff there that's making money. They have a house to live in because of that job, whatever. So let them be blessed, and we can have the place for them to do that. And, you know, that part's cool.
That's what I love about that.
I feel like all this stuff is going to pay off eventually. Like, I'm a strong believer in it, you know. Will Call's my baby. It's the biggest one. I gotta take care of that one the most, and it just has like a really good feel and vibe to it, to where I mean, that location is pretty much the best location you can have in the neighborhood. I mean, I'm literally smack dab in the middle.
Yeah.
On the corner, you know, I mean, anybody that's, you know, they say location. Well, I got the location. So now I just got to make sure that we do our part, which the staff there just crushes it. From the kitchen to the front of the house. Like,
yeah, you hired like everybody that everybody knows.
Well, that and it's just like a family thing. You know what I mean? It's like, without even trying, you can go anywhere you go work. People are like, "Oh, we're a family here." They're fucking lying to you. You know what I mean? Like, they say that
a family that hates each other.
Yeah, I mean, and family's dysfunctional sometimes.
Yeah.
I mean, it is what it is. But man, the people that work there, I mean, they literally like care for that place like it's theirs, and I love that about them. And you know, they know like right now is a struggle. You know, but as soon as we get back to where things are hot again, everyone's gonna be taken care of, and everybody's in good hands. Like I'm not some dude that you see on vacation all the time and doing all these. If we ain't got it, I don't got it, you don't got it. It just is what it is, you know.
Yeah, no, I mean,
we're in this together.
You know? See that? I mean, like, and when shit hits the fan, like, you guys step in. I mean, that's why one of the reasons I support you guys, like, you know, whether it's you or Sean, you know, we were giving Sean a hard time because, you know, the week before he came on the show, he had some people that were dealing with some stuff up there, his family at the back nine, and he posts, "Come support me. I'm coming out of retirement, slanging drinks behind the bar." I can't tell you how many times I see you make that post. Like, I mean, it's not uncommon. Like, you're not one of those bar owners that's like just in the back room or whatnot. Like, you're out there with your people, and you know, you're back there slanging drinks. I mean, I know every time I go down there and we stop in, whether we're down there to see a show at Trees or whatever, and we come by, we'll call. We go to the burger spot, get our burger, come back there, go to the show, come by, have some wings before we go home, have some drinks with you guys. I mean, it's not uncommon to see you behind the bar. And I mean, how do you, but let's ask this too. How do you balance that? Because you do have a young family at home still. I mean, you still got kids in school and all that, and you got soccer, football, whatever. How do you find balance there between running all these things, opening up a new pizza spot and everything else?
It's like I said, with the staff is so special and so cool that I can trust them when I'm not there, whatever, that it's, you know, sometimes they'll be like, "Hey, I'm going to California for a week." Cool, don't worry about it, I got you. You know, I'll work those shifts. Because if I'm there anyway, I'd rather be behind the bar. I don't want to, like, I'm not trying to sit in the corner and act like, "Oh, I'm the owner of this place. Come and talk to me." Like, or I'm not micromanaging you. Like, "Hey, you're not doing that right." Like, everybody there knows what they're doing. Yeah. So if I'm there, I'd rather just jump behind the bar, make you a drink. Got friends come in, I'll make a round, you know, whatever. Like, that's just me. Like, I don't know. Work ethic, being Mexican, I don't know. I work, you know, so I'd rather just do that, you know. And
are you gonna make it a Mexican thing now?
I mean, it is true. We work.
Can you make Bill a shirt that says, "I prefer to be called Jose"?
That would be funny.
That would be awesome.
I mean,
like,
I've never called him Jose.
Shop and do that.
I've never called him Jose, but I can make him a shirt like that.
That's a joke from him and me back at Back Nine back in the day when him and I used to hang out all the time because I'm really bad with names. Yeah. Usually I give people a nickname so that I can remember their name. And with Bill, him and Jose, who's also another like bartending legend down there, like, you know, they would be working a shift together, or one would be coming on and one would be coming off, you know, and like I used to always fuck it up, and it would piss Bill off so bad. Like, "I'm not fucking Jose. What? Just because I'm Mexican, you gotta call me Jose?"
He looks like a Jose.
Yeah, I was like, "I'm sorry. He looks more like a Bill. You look more like a Jose." He'd be like, and he'd do it back to me, you know, because my dad's name was Gary, so he'd be like, "All right, Gary," you know, and like he'd just fuck with me too. So, you know, it's a good time.
We're like that too, though. Like, I mean, my kitchen's Jose, so I'll fuck with him like Jose, Jose B. We got a lot of them, but yeah, shout out to the kitchen crew. I know they're
your kitchen's badass. I'll give it to you.
Those dudes are bad. I mean, I don't, like I said earlier, just not being biased, dude. Like I still eat there. Like I still enjoy it. Like, you know, it's not like I'm forced to. I mean, I just, it's so good.
Well, and I think what helps a tremendous amount too, and it's whether it's how you run your music or how you run your food, you're like, what does Deep Ellum already have? And you're like, all right, check. Best burger place is here. Best old fashioned is here. You know, whatever. You know, like you knock those things off, and all right, so this band is popping for them. I'm not going to jockey off that. Like, this is working for Trees, not going to jockey off that. And like, you just go like, all right, what other void can I fill? And that's what you execute on, which I think is genius. I mean, like, that's a great business model to go, all right, there's already burgers and pizza over here. I'm going to go with wings and cheesesteaks. Like, right. I got this. Like, and I'm going to have the best damn fries that you can find down here, or the best damn onion rings, whatever it is, you know, like, you've done those things. What's maybe a challenge you've had? Like, you know, let's knock COVID off the list, because everybody could use COVID as a thing. What's maybe something early on as a bar restaurant owner that you challenged that like was something that you really had to like get past, and like, how did you do it? Like, what was like something you thought was like a roadblock that maybe ended up turning into a stepping stone for you?
Man, I think like when we switched locations and we literally moved next door, and the next door was adding a kitchen, I was like, okay, we already have like the best dive bar, industry bar where everyone comes hang out at. So now if we're gonna have another bar and it's gonna have food, we gotta make sure that food is, you know, superior. So that was the challenge, because at first I was like, well, I'll bring on this dude that wants to have a restaurant, and he can run the kitchen, and as long as they're, you know, 4 stars and above, I'll leave him alone and we'll run the bar. And then I got to a point where I was like, no, you know what? I'm going to take the challenge on. I want to do my own kitchen. I want to do my own, you know, my own thing, and that was a big challenge.
Yeah.
Because adding the kitchen is bro, you want to talk about going from making money to making no money, add a kitchen.
Yeah, RJ just said Will Call got the best chicken wings in DFW, fries with Kool-Aid ketchup. I like that.
The pickle fries with Kool-Aid ketchup will change your life.
Yeah.
Who was that? RJ?
RJ.
Big Hoss.
Yeah, he's giving
the
you
weirdo.
Dude, you got like a serious following, like fan club on here, man. Like, dude. I would have to like, we'd have to pause for like 10 minutes for me to like give you all the shout outs, and your cousin says hello, and tell
birthdays
Sarah and the kids
and
hello.
I love my people, man.
This dude, I mean, I'm telling you, it's Clinton, JR, and then, you know, I would say, you know, like the Armory and those guys, like, that's the core of Deep Ellum today to me. And like, I think they kind of how they all work together and flow. I mean, it's amazing. You know, it's kind of like the same thing over in Addison, where, you know, you have Sean at the back 9 and Kyle at the hub / Ron's place and stuff. And like, these guys all like, it's not this hatred and like bashing each other, or my place is better than yours and stuff. Like, no, they all network and help each other. You know, like when Addison had the storm damage and power went out and stuff, Sean opened up his freezers and shit to Kyle so that like he didn't lose a shit ton of money because his freezers were down. He brought the shit across the street. Hey man, you got the space however long you need. Like, these guys all help each other and help each other feed each other's families, man. And I think that's cool as shit.
If you're on this side of the street, they got free admission. Then this side of the street within Screw, we're going to do free drinks. And this one, and then I'm talking about right across the street, there was just, it's the crabs in the barrel mentality is what we call it. Everybody's trying to climb over each other. We're here. You know, we always talk about Dallas is such a great place to network, but I see that not only just in B2B. Like, I've never seen how well they do it here, and you guys just do it.
Jose AG told you too. He's watching right from the kitchen live too.
Yeah, that's one of the best chefs in the land right there. Shout out to Jose Gallegos.
Yeah, I mean you guys are jumping on supporting the shit out of it.
Yeah, that's my
wife's even giving you the bacon cheddar fries too. She's nice. Like giving you props on that. So I mean, yeah, you guys doing it right now, and you know, I hate that because, you know, I hate that Deep Ellum, because North Texas has grown so much. Like, when we were in the late 90s, early 2000s, like, you couldn't go find this shit up here. Like, this shit didn't exist. there was farmland and shit. Like the highways and roads didn't even go this far. They were
I
dirt
visited
roads.
Frisco in 2006, and
I sound old as fuck
there.
saying that, but like that shit didn't exist. So like your option was go to the West End, go to Deep Ellum. Well, the West End kind of sucked, man. I don't want to go to an arcade and bullshit and preppy bars. That's what I tell people. I wanted to go see live music in Deep Ellum.
And live music was such a big part of that neighborhood because you would have your network like, you know, Josh, the IT guy, came out to Curtain Club to see
Deftones.
You know, or not even like even just local bands in general. You know, because back then, now there's restaurants and great places to eat and all that stuff. And back then there wasn't. It was like Angry Dog, St. Pete's.
Yeah.
You know, the OGs that are still consistent to this day. I eat at both of those places. I've been at both of them this week as we speak. So like food drives people out there now, you know, in good times and whatever. But like back in the day, music was such a big part of it because the local bands are what were bringing people. Like whatever band was playing, they were bringing
Toadies, Reverend Horton Heat, whoever, Nixon's.
Right. They were just, hey, come check us out. We're opening for this band. Okay. So all the people from Mesquite and Arlington and all the surrounding cities went. But now as DFW has grown so much, every suburb has their own hangout spot where to kick it.
Yeah.
So it's like, well, they don't have to fucking take a 30-minute drive to go party and have a good time anymore because they can go to Shops of Legacy or the Star in Frisco or, whatever.
So what are you guys doing to combat that? Like, what are the new innovative things and whatnot that you guys as the senseis of Deep Ellum, what are you guys as a core? Like, what's the brain trust of Deep Ellum thinking, and how are you guys trying to deal with this?
How are you bringing Deep Ellum back?
You got COVID. We're past COVID now, although it seems to be kicking everybody's ass again right now. But a whole nother story.
Go figure.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, we won't get into all that.
We won't.
Because that would take the whole rest of the show. Yeah. We'll start talking about slanted roofs and crazy shit. So
I ain't here for that. That's for sure.
Is it really necessary to bring it back? Because I do know just from a guy I used to work with, he lives downtown, and I know downtown is so huge. There's so many people down there. Is that your core audience? Do you really need to reach out to the northern suburbs to really have anything, or is it its own? You're servicing the people that are already there. Is that providing enough business to kind of start bringing things back?
That's where marketing comes in. That's where like the reels and in putting together a good marketing plan to because everybody just scrolls and everybody's attention span these days is if you don't grab it in 10 seconds, they ain't into it. So
shorts.
I've been making like little.
I ain't gonna say what we use yet. We got to do some more shorts.
I've been making some recently, working with a really good digital artist, just to try to grab that attention because the statistics show how many people live in the surrounding city now. That's why I say Deep Ellum will never die. Yeah. Back in the day, it's died before. But back in the day when it died, there wasn't fucking 75,000 people that lived in that 3-mile radius.
Yeah.
Now with all these high rises and everything,
that's where I was going.
It's never gonna die. Will it thrive like it used to be, where every place has 300-400 people in it, no matter what? I don't know. I hope so. I hope one day it comes back to that. I mean, when we first started Will Call, bro, we had to clear the tables out at 10 o'clock. Take the tables out, put them in the back, because we were going to be so packed. Now it's like, I think we need to put some more tables in here. It's just...
I'm going to ask an odd question. Do you think, I think it's the age thing too, though. Being I'm older, do a lot of people go out anymore after, and I hate to say the COVID thing, but let's take COVID out. That was 3-4 years ago. Do a lot of people still go out, or you see more people like, we'll go out this weekend, but we're going to do what we call a kickback at somebody's house, and a lot more people are chilling at home and going out occasionally. Have you kind of heard that in the wind or any kind of observation?
Absolutely. I do the same thing. It's the economy for that. I think, the economy has to go with that and without going too far into any bullshit.
Yeah.
Like grab a $50 bottle that you like, grab a $20 stove that you like.
Meet me on my patio.
And let's chill at my house, that does happen a lot these days right now because, it's expensive to go out. Whether you pay for parking or you take an Uber or you do this, whatever. I mean, you got to... So where do you find a fine line of incentives to bring the people out again? I mean, that's just kind of... Is it going to be an artist that makes people want to go see, that makes them come out? Or it's a big question mark right now. Every day we're trying to figure it out, you know, because business isn't what it used to be at all. And a lot of it has to do with, there's so many things that it has to do with. It's not just one thing.
Socioeconomics, everything.
Right.
So do you not so if nightlife is slowed a little bit because of that, then do you kind of like that? Say, how do we pump up the lunch crowd? I don't know if you have lunch hours or.
I do on the weekends, and that's the thing. I was going to say, the funny thing is like me specifically right now, I'm busy from like 3 p.m. to 8 p.m. Because during the day in Deep Ellum, it's families walking around, everyone's eating barbecue and shopping a little bit. The market's always there, you know, people come in, drink some beers, watch a game for a little bit, whatever. So you have that, but then you have the reputation of, oh, it's dangerous at night. I'm not going out. I don't want to be out there past midnight. You know, whatever. That's the news and speculation and everything. I won't lie. I'll put it right here to everybody that's watching and listening. Like, leave before 2. You know, don't be roaming the streets looking for some late night food and get caught up in some bullshit you don't want to be caught up in. Especially
they're looking for you.
Especially in the summertime, because there's a lot of young, you know, kids out there just
kids,
you know, fucking it up for everybody.
Yeah.
F around and find out. That's
so that there's that thing for sure, and you know, and
you
then,
don't want to look like a mark.
And because of the bullshit and the safety precautions that we have to take as a city and a community, they think it's a good idea to close off the streets like Austin, and you know, and to me as a business owner and for the rest of the business owners, I speak for everybody, I think, because those street closures are killing us more than anything. Because now, I mean, now you can't get down to where you want to get down to. You in an Uber, you want to get dropped off where you're going. Not 3 blocks away and walk to where you're going.
Right.
You know?
Or have to park 4 blocks away.
Like, so stop doing the street closures. You're killing us. Keep the police presence out there. You know, it's great.
Did you guys get a chance to have a forum to speak with city?
Dude,
is it just talking to a wall?
No, we do it so much.
Talking to a wall.
We do it so much. We have monthly safety meetings. We have monthly business meetings. We have a Deep Ellum Foundation that works real hard trying to, you know, make things right as much as possible.
See, that's the thing that the news doesn't talk about.
They don't.
They don't talk about the steps you guys are taking, that you're taking it into your own hands.
They act like they don't care. And I can tell you, because I know most of these guys personally, like, they deeply care, man. Like, not only is their livelihood invested in it, like, they got into it because they love Deep Ellum. You know, like, everybody, you know, like, got their start down there. Like, that's where they fell in love with live music or performing or whatever. Like, you know, Deep Ellum is Austin's 6th Street. You know, like, that's Dallas's version, you know, and like, it's famous for a reason. Like, people,
way more creative.
Yeah. And it, you know, like, I don't know what the renaissance for it's going to be. Like you just said a minute ago, you know, it's going to take, I think, a combination of a lot of things, but we need more JRs and Clints and these guys down here that are advocating and getting a little bit more of a platform to talk about. That's why I was real excited when, like, you know, JR and these guys said they wanted to come on and talk on the show. Like, you know, I busted his balls when I was down there talking to him about it. Like, come by, you know, people don't want me on the podcast. I'm like, no, bro, like, people do. Like, this is important to people in the local community because there's a lot of people, you know, especially my demographics that I hit on the show. Like, it's our age group, you know, it's like, that's what we grew up with. You know,
I think your age group
the West End was like closing down, and like Deep Ellum was, I mean, because like Deep Ellum was killing West End. Like, Deep Ellum, like, nobody wanted to go to the West End. Like, you were a frat boy with a pop collar if you were hanging out in the West End. You weren't cool to hang out in Deep Ellum.
But would you say, you both say that then your age group that was there in the beginning would be the key to the catalyst of the Renaissance of bringing it back?
Especially, I think partially. I think that's a hand. I'll go first, and then I want you to answer this.
Yeah, for sure.
I think that goes hand in hand. I think you need to get our age group wanting, because all of us are up north now. You got to get them wanting to go. I mean, like, both of us. We both live up north. We still go to Deep Ellum. I mean, him more than me, but
he has to.
He has to. I mean, that's where his business is. But you got to get our age group going back there again and feeling that vibe. You know, it's like nostalgia.
And when
and you get them going back, but you also need this younger group, this, the 20 to, I'm going to say the 20 to 30-year-olds, they got to start putting some music together and some bands and stuff. And like, I feel like you need a little bit of that coming back, and you just need one or two of them to start hitting and inspire some other guys. Like, we get inspired watching like Paco or somebody like that we see that's just killing it. He just, like he said earlier, another top 100 with Blue October, and he had a top song with Nothing More. You need someone like that inspiring this younger generation where they want to like, oh man, like I got to go buy that guitar because Paco plays that guitar, man. And like, I want to kill it. I want to get up on stage and I want to play live at Trees in front of everybody. Like,
You're saying what I'm thinking. You're saying what I'm thinking, and I'm curious to see what do you think about the same thing, because at the point I'm going to make, you're spot on to what I'm thinking.
So our generation of people that grew up out there that still love the neighborhood, they love for the opportunity to go back. Of course, they can't go back every weekend. So like, say Download plays a show at Trees. And everybody goes down, everybody hangs out, everybody comes to Will Call. Will Call, I mean, the name of it came from, you get your tickets at Will Call. So it's kind of like a pre and post party bar. All the bands that are in town, they come hang out there. Like that's what it's known for, whatever. But so like when the old shows happen where everybody gets together and comes out and they come to the bar, they're all like, oh man, you're killing it. And it's like, I am tonight because all you motherfuckers came out.
Yeah.
But last weekend I was over here, jerking off the dog to feed the cat.
I love that.
I'm putting that shit on the shirt.
We're quoting that.
Can we put that in the shirt shop?
Yeah. I learned
that's going to be a short.
I learned that from a buddy back in the day. My buddy Brandon Norrell told me that back in the day, but I always use it. And so yeah, it's one of those things where, online just I hate everything being on the internet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can't get away from it.
It sucks
Because people just think like, they're scrolling from a post on Facebook like, oh, everything's great, Cool. Well, I can't sit there and post online like, hey guys, I'm fucking struggling right now. Come out and hang out. That desperation, people don't want to hear that. You don't want to put that out there. I mean, I'm not a negative person online. I don't post bad stuff like that. If I'm online, it's for the business. I want people to come see us.
Yeah.
That's what I care about, because it takes care of the people that work for me. It takes care of me and my family, whatever. So, that's just what I do, and got to figure out a way to, make those old school people come out and enjoy it and appreciate it, and still spread the word that it's a cool community. Because now it's people come in and be like, hey man, you're friends with my dad. Who's your dad? Oh, so they play in. Damn, I remember when you were born. Now you're 21. You're drinking at my bar. Like,
yeah. But you see a lot of these really cool things, man. Like I hate to like this one was real personal for me too. When Matt Mosman died, and they did the reunion show at Trees, man, and all these dudes that like. I'm getting the chills. You do that like circle of friends, man, and like you had everybody getting up there, like the whole Edgewater band got back together. Matt's wife, Courtney, his kids, all of them there, and these guys like Edgewater, the band performed, and then all the guys that grew up in Deep Ellum with them got up and sang for Matt on some songs, and they're like, man. If you saw the people that showed up to that, like, man, it was like, man, fuck. It took this to get all y'all back together and, like, feeling that vibe and doing it again. And then, ironically, the NTX vinyl thing, I mentioned that before, but, little things like that, like one of these guys passing, whether it's, the Vermifest or something like that, and you start, because I guess we're getting fucking old and it's getting to that age where like people are past stuff, but it's like, fuck, what else is it gonna take to kind of like bring that synergy back? Because once you get all those people in that room or those rooms, like that magic starts coming back, man. Like I know you felt it before when like these shows, like whether it was the Slow Roosevelt show or this and that, like you start feeling it's like, all right, how can we do that consistently for like 6 months? Because if you did that for like 6 months, like I feel like that would come back. Yeah. Like, but like getting those little things to happen.
I feel like a big music festival would help out. I feel like just a really big one, like, you know, put together the Toadies and Drowning Pool and Bowling for Soup, and I mean, put together all these big icons with a bunch of local bands and get everyone to come, get thousands of people to come back and see like, oh, this is a good neighborhood. It's not what the news said it was or whatever.
Yeah.
But other than that, I mean, that's the way life is in general, though. I mean, it's like when you have family, you haven't talked to them forever. Someone dies, then you're all together. You know? And then you see each other and you're like, man, we need to do this more often. You don't. You know, it's just time goes by. And
so do you guys talk about that stuff? Like you and Clint and guys, like how do y'all spark that? Like, man, like you guys, is this something that like you guys working on? Like,
we try to, man. You know, it's one of those things where you kind of run out of ideas, you know? I mean, we know what to do. We know how to give people a good time when it happens. It's just how, you know, it's just a chemistry thing. How do we get it all to work out together at once? And it'll get there. You know, there's going to be great time. There's always going to be great times out there. There's always going to be a band that wants to get back together and jam, and it brings people together again. Or, you know, unfortunately, like if someone passes away and we do a memorial for somebody, it brings everybody back together again. And I mean, that's just life. That's the way it is, you know. And
that shouldn't have to always be the only reason everybody gets together. Easier said than done, but
right.
I'm sitting here listening to both of you. It sounds like all the ingredients is there, the kitchen's there. We just got to get some chefs in there and start
cooking.
For sure. I mean, that's what it is. It's like, but you know, with how spread out everything is and how many, you know, it's hard to like keep it going, you know, because it'd be great if we could put together one of these shows every month, you know, and, you know, 1 month we get, you know, Edgewater to come back and do something in memory of Matt and everybody sing again. And, you know, next week you get Download to get together and, you know, or next month, or if you could do it once a month, it'd be hard to do it once a week because we're all old school cats.
I was on some quarterly stuff, but
right,
that is.
It'll happen again, man. We just need, you know, younger generation come out and play some music and bring people to that. Musicians gotta love it, you know what I mean? Because like like I was talking about earlier, you can go play, you know, at this sports bar and this place, and you can go play all these places, but there's nothing like the energy of playing like a tree stage.
Yeah.
And you have that production and those lights, and you're standing right where you know every rock star you ever loved.
Kurt Cobain.
Yeah, Kurt Cobain got his ass whooped there. Yeah. You know, like you just the nostalgia of being in those places.
You know what I would love to see? A documentary on Deep Ellum. Just from the days that you guys described, there's got to be plenty of video. There's got to be footage. There was
one that we were working on for a while. Man, I don't know what happened to that producer, what he was doing, but he was putting together something when Curtain Club was going under, you know, because that place had such a big history of what it was, you know, 20 years of Deep Ellum music before it closed down.
God, what was the name of that band that System of a Downside?
Fair to Midland.
That dude hanging off the rafters like right before that closed.
Incredible, man.
Insane.
Incredible.
But I mean, it's shows like that. Like, we're going to talk when this is over again. Like, with the music stuff we have getting ready to pop off and the music podcast, I think if I can connect with you and Clint and some of these guys, like, I think there's a way to do this, and I'm excited to
I think that's probably the catalyst that we're looking for.
I mean, like, you gotta bring some of these things back. Like, people, you know, like I've talked to, like, we're gonna have a show that we're gonna do that's tied in a podcast format where, like, I'll give you an example. Like, I've talked to Paco about this, but like, find a weekend or whatever random ass day that like Paco and Justin can get together or maybe you and Paco, and say, all right, bring me a song that you have not finished. Can't be your best, can't be your worst. Maybe it's a chorus, maybe it's a title song, maybe it's, just a lyric or an idea. And then we're going to sit down with me, no songwriting experience, and we're going to live podcast. We're going to let people comment and chime in here, and we're going to do like a songwriting 101. And you and Paco are going to sit here and vibe on whatever it is the two of you brought to the table, and we're going to put some out. If you two do anything with it after that, fucking cool. If not, so what? But people got to see, this younger generation gets to see what some badasses like that fucking put together.
Yeah.
We're going to do some things like that. We're going to put a podcast together where it's a live show with a Q&A with the band, and we're going to get them to strip things down, make it raw again, and throw that out there. And if you happen to be local and we're doing it at one of these spots, and I'm not going to say we're going to do it at one spot or another, but come out and see it, and we're going to do that. I
got the idea right now, bro.
Bring that back.
I got the idea right now. We'll start small, and we can start off with Common Sense Unplugged.
All right. Bro, I said we were going to talk about it off the air, but since you want to put it out there,
because that's how we started the conversation.
This is exactly what it is.
Literally,
fuck it. So I don't
2 years ago.
It's already rolling, so I really
cool.
don't care.
You can do
it's not totally done yet.
You can do like a storyteller still, where you have
that's what we're doing.
Put together all your favorite people, whether it's Micah from Edgewater, Paco. Maybe me and the Overscene guitar player get together.
He spilled the beans.
And we play, 2 songs that are very meaningful to, each artist. And then you come up and you do your thing. Like, how did you write that song?
We've actually done a pilot for this already.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
We just test drove.
You just kind of like
but you literally just said exactly what it is.
Executive producer.
This is what I've been wanting to do for...
Come on, man.
Let's go.
For 20 years.
You know what, guys? Just to expound on that and to still tie into what we're talking about. So what then? I would love to see then an invitation to a couple of up and coming bands. If you just get wind of some band that's playing out somewhere and you go and vet them, you go listen to them, whatever, and send them an invitation to come through and either be on an episode or come down. And I think that's how you start to slowly get this gen to see what this gen.
Yeah, and you know what? Fuck it. Let's you know what? It's already kind of, the cat's out of the bag a little bit. Not completely, because I've got some
legal shit to do.
Legal trademarking type stuff I've got to finish, but apparently I need to step that shit up again now because JR just dropped it. But we're gonna do that. So if there's any of those, you got your JR fan club is strong here right now. If there's a band y'all want to see like that, and you want to see MTV unplugged type shit, and you want to see it at Will Call or Trees or something like that, or maybe you are somebody that's in one of those bands that Deep Ellum, we're going to do this songwriting 101 thing, and we're also going to start bringing some of those shows back out. So you want to be a part of that, y'all hit me up in the DMs, go for it, reach out, use your connections, whatever. Let's talk about it because it is going to happen. It's, it's been in the progress, in the works for a while.
JR has now made it inevitable. I can't spell that word, but I know what that shit is. He's made it
Say
inevitable.
it 3 times real fast.
Sounds good.
No. I may end up getting us kicked off there if I say that fast 3 times. No.
You ain't gonna be like the dude that strolled in here after our last show last week. Thank God he's finally gone.
Story, good grief.
But yeah.
If you got good teeth, let me tell you. Never mind. It's funny. But, anyway, so you talked about work-life balance because that was a curiosity that we had about how do you we talked to Sean, it's just Sean and his girl, so he can dedicate all his time fully to that. But like me, I do 1,000 things, and then I try to take kids to the zoo, and I got 2 kids in football, and I got a wife that's like, who are you? It's just a lot.
Oh, he tells me we need shorts and screw you shorts.
It's a lot. But then but like I said, you have dedicated people that can run the boat while you're off of it. And that's a key thing that I think a lot of people, if you were to give some advice to anybody that's looking at, and I don't think it's even just the bar business, just business in general, what would you say has been your key to success to keeping your wits looking at the ups and the downs and running it and building and all that, what's the thing that keeps you rooted on the path?
Family, for sure. You know, like my wife and kids, you know, like that's the number one, of course, you know, so and that's the cool thing about everybody that works for me is like, not all of them have that, you know, they don't have that. Wife and kids, you know, like my partner Trevor, he's a saint to me in my business and my family. When we got together, it was kind of like, hey, I need a partner that can be my sidekick that doesn't exactly have what I have as far as, you know, I got games to make. I got, you know, can you back me up on those situations, you know, and having someone like that. So like when you do want to take a step and you do want to run a business, like put someone on that you trust and that you love and that can help you be able to keep your life together. Cause I mean, man, if you don't have that, you can kill yourself in this business, you know?
That's any business, man. You don't have a strong support
any business
system
for sure, you know, but
at
like
home, you're
you know,
fucked.
I've been able to find a real balance, and there were years where we're 7 years into it now. I mean, like we've grinded for a long time, and now I'm like, man, you know, I'm not gonna miss my son's basketball. Although I did miss my son's basketball game tonight for this.
We appreciate that. We thank you so much. We apologize in advance.
Yeah. We thank you, Mama Munoz, for holding down the fort so he could be here with us tonight.
She's cool.
But look at all the positive things that have come about because he missed one game.
And you know what? I like Josie's idea here. Maybe one of these shows is Overscene in Big Story.
Man, who put that on there?
Josie Gomez.
Oh yeah, okay. Shout out Josie.
I like that idea. Big Story and Overscene. That'd be a good one. I'd like Down Low and Overscene too. That sounds like a great show to me that I remember seeing back in the day now.
I would love to play with the Overscene guys. We're you know, everybody's so busy and it's hard to get everyone together, man. I mean,
life be lifing.
I need about 50 pounds less to get ready to do that, but
we already had that discussion. No, we don't.
I'll go to the gym with you, bro.
Just get your stamina up, man.
We don't live that far apart. I'll go to the gym with you. All right,
let's go, bro. I go to this one down the street from here. Actually, I love it.
I love Lifetime, man.
Which one are you at?
With me. That's expensive. I go to Willow Bend Fitness.
All right, I know.
I don't know about that one, but
it's right here on in between Park and Parker.
All right,
and that's
close to my house.
It's a dope spot, man. It's really cool. It's not that big. Everyone in there is just...
It's not $450 a month like his gym?
No.
I only pay like $10.
I haven't been in like 3 months. Don't remind me of what I'm paying.
Yeah, I think it's like $90 where I'm at. But
damn, man. Yeah,
bro, like when it's busy there, it's like 20 people. You know what I mean?
And that's love. You ain't waiting on a bench or a machine.
No, bro.
I gotta go find other exercises.
I mean, when I say 20 people, it's really 10 people with 10 trainers. Everybody's got a trainer there.
Nah. See, we walk in there with headphones and you go.
Yeah, and I like it. And
your son won the game, by the way. We got an update from the wifey. So
my wifey's on there?
And he's watching now. So
nice, big Jag. Shout out to the Jag man, little Jagger.
Shout out, homie.
Dude, Jag's the man, dude, and my wife's cool too.
I mean, knows. My wife would tell her that she spells her name wrong, but I mean that's just because I got to say her with an H.
Yeah, mine's without an H. No, so my family's the back to what we were saying, and now that they're chiming in, like that's what it is that keeps me going and
that's
keeps
your root.
And everybody at the bar, they love the fam, and like me and Sarah, we've been together. We're about to have our wedding anniversary in September.
Don't fuck this up, bro.
15 years. We've been together like 18 or something like that. Like,
oh yeah, you in there? You pot committed, as they say.
Yeah.
But you're probably at that point too, where like, you know, your kids. It'd be cool to see dad do that too.
Yeah, so
they're at an age now where it's like.
So my daughter's seen it. My daughter grew up around me being a musician and traveling and playing music and making records and all that stuff. My son never seen it because, you know, he's 10 now, about to be 11. So, you know, being that we've had the bar for 7 years, that's what he's seen. So he's like,
ain't seen the music side.
Like he doesn't know the music side. He doesn't give a shit about it.
You don't sing at home or anything?
I'm
like
not.
that?
I sing at home all the time. My wife's like, she'll laugh at this if she's still watching, but she's like,
she watching.
I feel like I live in a fucking musical. I'm just always, I'm singing something. Even if I'm telling you to take out the trash, I'll sing it to you.
He's even rocking the new Slim Shady. He got me to download it.
Dude.
It's fire, right?
Man.
Like, finally, something legit again.
Yeah, because I didn't like his last record. His
No,
last
it was
record
terrible.
sounded terrible. It sounded terrible. It wasn't like the songs were bad. It was just like I just couldn't get into the production of it,
It was bad.
This new one is more like, that's like you said, everything circles back.
I was telling him earlier about the
around.
Toby Maguire song. He was like, but that's it. When he clapped back at Melly Mel, like Melly Mel, like the guy.
Toby Maguire was bit by a spider. My wife's like, that's the only part you know.
You have to watch the lyric video. Then you'll get like
when he gets on some P Diddy.
I was bit by the goat. Yeah.
Bruh, I was like, wow.
He is just he's a different. He's a monster.
Him is that guy.
Yeah, he is. There's a reason why he's what he is,
he ain't got to show out. He ain't got to show up often. But when he does, watch your ass. When he does show up.
And I love that. I love that about
he
people.
murdered Machine Gun Kelly. That was the only thing that came good out of the previous stuff. Like that before the Kendrick Lamar Drake stuff, nobody got murdered.
Dude, that Kendrick
Machine Gun
Lamar
Kelly.
Drake beef to me, and I don't ever talk bad about musicians online ever or on a podcast or people.
Which means
and another one.
And another one.
Yeah.
And another one.
So okay, I'm curious what your take is on the Kendrick Drake thing.
The Kendrick Drake, to me, that beef is so Rudy poop, man. I don't know if anybody knows what Rudy poop means, but it's so stupid, dude. Like, it's not even cool. Like, it doesn't.
What did they fall? So
He's gay. No, he's gay.
what did they fall? What did they fall off for in
bad.
the first? The only one smart in that whole thing was J. Cole. J. Cole said, "No, I ain't in this shit. My bad. I'm going to duck out right now. My shit's too cool. I'm going to Kendrick's concert tomorrow, and I'm going to get on stage and be like, I'm sorry."
Yeah.
Because hey,
And J. Cole's a real one. And
all
so,
day.
you know what? Kendrick is pretty good too. Like, I'm not going to take that away from him.
I'm a Kendrick fan.
A lot of people love him.
To Pimp a Butterfly.
I don't like
Me being a vocalist, I don't really like his voice. Is he a great
I'm the same
lyricist?
way.
Absolutely. I don't really care for his voice.
Yep.
He does kind of bring back that like Eazy-E kind of sound.
Yeah, I mean,
being from the same
he's
neighborhood
LA.
and having that.
Yeah, he's LA.
That like higher pitch voice. And I'm just not into it.
But what I like about Kendrick is what he's saying. If you break down and listen to
his
what he's
lyrics
saying,
are dope.
and when you look at They Not Like Us, I mean, like is the last two disc records, it's like literally deep. Like if you listen to what he's saying, it's like, damn. The A minor thing is probably one of the most classic things, and I've heard in a minute because my 10-year-old goes around and saying like, you don't even know half the shit you even talking about, but you know you can remember the words. But I mean, theoretically, yeah, he destroyed Drake. Drake ain't going nowhere because Drake owns half of everybody's music, whether they know it or not.
Right.
Drake done signed some deals to where he can get dissed all he want. He's laughing all the way to the bank. He don't give a shit.
Everyone's just getting
Drake
exposed
just
now,
annoys me because if you take it it's like you talk about somebody like Jay-Z used to just get hell for sampling and copying Biggie, and it was like you're riding his jock. Drake's songs, I want to see something original.
Well, his style was when he first came out. He was. I was a Drake fan. Now it's old, and Kendrick kind of called it out.
Yeah,
and because it was something that I always observed. So Drake, to stay relevant, then started grabbing all the relevant artists and then putting out
just
things with them
that.
because his style was done. It was done. He was done. Like for me, when you get to a certain part in your career, it's time to step out and then start putting other artists out and now be in the back. You made enough money. You don't need to be in the front no more. Let your OVO label just put out good music, and now you're taking what you learned and putting that into new artists.
Or you got to be able to reinvent yourself.
Well,
a little bit.
It goes to if you're too busy talking, you ain't busy listening.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like the Nickelback argument. The Nickelback sucks that they sold out. Nickelback kicked ass for a long time, and they sold out. They still sell out stadiums. You call them soccer mom, whatever you want.
I don't give a shit what people say, dude. I'll tell you straight up. Nickelback is
fucking banging.
They're badass, dude. They're and for metal dudes, they're metal dudes. Me growing up in this scene,
yeah.
Dime and Vinny were Nickelback fans. You know, so like,
boom, there you guys have it. All you fuckers that want to make fun of this shit,
dude. Like it was just
boom. You heard it.
But even back when
their first album was fucking metal,
and the second one was too. Like I remember, dude. I remember like specifically one night like hanging out in the parking lot on the corner of Malcolm X and Main. We left Galaxy Club late night, and we're standing in the parking lot drinking beers, listening to the second record, and everybody was like, holy shit, like,
yeah,
we need to write songs, we need production, we need drums to sound like this. And so I never spit on Nickelback. Like, yeah, did they come out with some corny ass songs? Yeah, so what? That's
shit sold.
It's like when you're in the kitchen and everybody wants these nachos. Well, fuck, I'm gonna make them again.
We got to think about it too, though,
Yeah.
how much the industry controls what you do. You know, artists are making 40 and 50 records for one album, and then they're not the ones that choose the cuts that make the final album.
Right.
You know, it's the industry. I watched the industry when I was in radio. I watched the industry turn music into disposable. Nobody makes an album anymore. They make singles.
Right.
They made it disposable to where, when's the last time you heard an album and you listened to that shit all the way through?
I did.
I got another one for you. I want your opinion on this and be real, because like if any of my old roommates are listening, like I want this on record because I feel like you might support this. What's your thoughts on Creed?
Man, I got Creed with arms wide open.
That's the only thing that goes through my head when you said that.
Bro, I mean, like, Creed started out as a metal band. Mark Tremonti is one of the most badass guitarists.
They were
a metal
that dude
band?
fucking shreds.
I didn't know that.
Guitar player of the year.
They were.
And I got to, back to my history with like rock and roll. Like, I remember, so when I grew up, it was everything was, especially back then in the early 90s, mid 90s, like it was R&B.
Yeah.
R&B. Like, dude, I love Boyz II Men. I love, all that,
Cooley High Harmony.
90s was the R&B era.
Yes.
And it was R&B bands. It was groups.
It was groups.
Jodeci's and all that other.
It was like, and I tell people this all the time, you know what I'm talking about, and having a couple cocktails. I'm like, man, motherfuckers used to know how to be in love back in the day.
Yeah, and they didn't have to be
making mixtapes for girls.
They didn't have to be
You'd be on the
vulgar
phone
with
all
it.
night, you'd be like, you ever heard this song?
Yeah. And they wasn't vulgar about it. There was a nuance to it that was dope.
So I love that stuff. And then in 98, 99, when Creed came out with My Own Prison, I remember I was amazed because it was rock, but it was great melodies and you could sing along to it. And I was like, holy shit. And then that's what made me get into like Bush and Stain and Limp Bizkit. And then I started listening to rock.
Limp Bizkit's the shit.
You are speaking my language,
Limp
brother.
Bizkit to me is, bro, like if there was never Fred Durst, there may not have been the front man that I was in my day.
If there wasn't Westmoreland, there wouldn't be like Slipknot and shit. Like, and all this,
there's just
The other group, he started acting. He was the lead singer because he was the same time Limp Bizkit was out. Dark hair, Henry
Jared
Rollins.
Leto? Oh, Rollins.
No, was it Rollins?
Yeah, that was old punk rock
Rollins.
dudes. Yeah.
What was the name of the group?
Rancid. Was it Rancid?
Rancid, and he had
I'm not much
Rancid.
of a
I'm
punk
not
rock
familiar
guy.
with, but it was.
I don't think was it Rancid? I just made
Henry
that up.
Rollins band, and you had
maybe it was the Henry Rollins band.
But he had a band he was in for that.
There's one.
I'm not a big punk rock guy, so don't know.
Yeah.
See my genres like
You'll get
Korn
me
and
on
shit
punk
like that
rock
is
for
what I was.
sure.
Yeah, anyone watching, don't judge me on that one.
Black Flag.
Okay.
Was it?
That's what they're saying online right now. So
That makes sense then. That does
I'll
make
go
sense.
with it. That sounds about right.
The only thing I knew about Black Flag was I saw Black Flags go on a Cadillac. But no, that music right there. So I don't have a problem.
Where is
with
that
Creed at all.
genre today?
They're coming back.
It's all coming back.
It's all coming back. It's all
Creed's
circling
on
around.
tour again. Limp Bizkit's on tour again.
Yeah.
Nickelback. I think it's their drummer that has some medical issues.
What's the Chili Peppers considered?
Chili Peppers are, legendary.
Yeah, it's like Blink
That's-
182 selling out arenas again. The only one in that era that I can say I am not a fan of that I think still to this day has one good album is Green Day. And the only album that was good is Dookie. And they overplayed it so much,
You got tired of it.
You just got burnt out. Like, that's a great album, but like that just got, it was in that genre of like overplay the shit out of it. They were sending all that money, just keep playing it, keep playing it. Hey, Radio Man, play the shit out of this.
Those people back then, I mean, they made timeless records. They made timeless records.
Well, that goes back to our conversation as a DJ.
Maybe
now,
Danzig.
You give me a room of people that appreciate all that. You can play music for hours and not repeat one song, and everybody's grooving the whole time.
You can go.
We don't have that now because everything sounds alike.
I mean,
it's the same shit.
You don't even have the haters of like Nickelback and Creed. Like, I mean, people still will hate on Nickelback or Creed, but like, name somebody that's like current that like people are hating on.
There's no timeless artist now.
The 21-year-olds. I mean, my daughter asked me a long time ago. My daughter's a musician as well. She asked me like, I don't know, some odd years ago. She was like, Dad, how come the songs I like I only hear for a little bit and then I don't hear them anymore?
They're made to be disposable.
And I told her, I'm like,
my kids at 5 and 6 were literally like, you play New Edition in my house, they lose their shit. Ooh. They love they
yes.
Not even born. Michael Jackson was dead already when my 10-year-old was born. He was already gone. And they loved Jackson, MJ. Like Michael Jackson is a perfect example of timeless. Yeah. Michael Jackson records will be played after you. All three of us are dead and gone. They'll
for sure.
still be playing Michael Jackson records.
Well, that's what I told my daughter. Like when she was asking me about artists, I'm like, look, the only artists that you know now that are big and that are going to be big still when you're older and you're my age. This was 10 years ago or so when she asked that question. I was like Bruno Mars, Taylor Swift. Those will be two artists that'll be around when you're older. The rest of them, putting out singles, they're gone.
Gone.
This is what it is.
And they just don't make time.
And that's what, like, you were talking about Jay-Z earlier. Like, I'm a huge Jay-Z fan.
I like him too.
I mean, everything he does, I'm like,
Blueprinting back, I can still play right now.
I'm a businessman, not a businessman. That stuff and like Death of Auto-Tune, when that came out. Like the same for iTunes, the same for sing-alongs.
If you're talking about hip-hop, Tupac.
Dude, like...
Tupac. And here's the crazy thing. People didn't know, in mainstream, didn't know Tupac until the Death Row era. Right. Tupac had banging albums before he got angry. All way before that. But people don't know him until the Death Row era. Right. That 94 and on when hip-hop really went mainstream, that's what now people say that's old school. And I'm like, huh?
Well, that's the thing. Like when people talk about Biggie, I'm like, and I love Biggie, don't get me wrong, but I'm always like, yeah, he had one of the greatest records of all time. I can't consider him one of the greatest of all time because I never got to hear any other records. Who knows if he would have kept making bangers?
I've always wondered if those two guys still were alive today, where would they be?
I don't know.
Look at Lil Wayne. Lil Wayne had a big run. Lil Wayne was a dope lyricist. Lil Wayne can spit, but what goes up must come down. You can't stay relevant because of the evolution of what music, not just hip hop, but music is just different. And now that we are older, like kids that are younger than us, that's the shit. But we're looking at it like, this is garbage. But imagine, I'll never forget my grandmother telling my mom to turn off a Prince record because she said that was garbage. And I was like, it was controversy. It was like in 1978. And my grandmother was like, turn off that's mess, that's garbage, that's not real music, da, da, da. And then Prince became one of the greatest musicians of our time. But every generation looks at this generation's music differently. But I think now it's just garbage. I don't give a shit how old you are.
Just like we're getting requests for JR to sing Garth Brooks. I mean, it's just going to keep rolling. That thunder rolls.
But the thunder's not, so I'm chilling right now. Who asked for that? I'm going to punch them later.
Mike Bernal.
Oh, yeah, for sure, that guy.
Yeah.
That dude moved out of Deep Ellum, almost made Will Call close down. I'm going to call you out like that online, bro. How do you like that?
Ooh. Damn. Well,
Mike, he's coming with the heat for you, bro.
He moved out of Deep Ellum. I'm like, bro, who's going to pay the electricity bill if you move out of this neighborhood, for real?
Yeah.
Wow.
And now...
That'd be like if Brian moved out of Addison, back 9 would be...
Yeah. What are you going to do?
What's going to happen now?
Love you, Mikey B. Just playing with you, buddy.
I think today's episode really did conjure something. And he already had it in motion, but... getting somebody like Jay aboard and understanding where it is. I think you guys continue this conversation.
Yeah.
We'll get there soon.
And maybe Clint will actually have brunch with me like we've supposed to have done for the last year and a half.
Don't be offended. Me and Clint.
I know. Clint's a pain in the ass.
Every time we take shots, we're like, all right, let's get the ladies together and go to dinner. Like, all right, cool. I'll call you this week.
Yeah. I got to fit in between his like chiropractic appointment that's like up north when he actually comes up here.
We do squeeze in lunch every now and then, though.
Yeah.
He took me to a Mexican joint not too long ago that was really good.
Yeah.
Really good.
Man. I mean, I appreciate you coming out and like sharing all this with everybody, man. Like we're definitely gonna do this again. We'll definitely do some more stuff. And maybe shit, like let's do a show down at Will Call, bro.
All this.
Let's
shit
go down there. Maybe like
all this shit. Travels.
Maybe one of these we'll sit down with Paco or something down there. It's like his home away from home or something.
Yeah.
If you got internet, we can make it happen.
I do. I got good.
Well, there it is. We have all the ingredients. Let's cook.
So, I love it.
Let's start cooking. I'm down.
Yeah.
All right, man. So we wrap up every show with 2 questions.
All right.
And one's kind of a statement, but we'll let you go from there. So if you got to leave, since this is Common Sense, the podcast, if you got to leave your children with one piece of advice, what would that advice be?
I mean, the common law, just treat people how you want to be treated. Do good and good will come to you. You know, I don't know. That might sound a little cliche, but it's just the way life is.
It's not though, man. Like, I mean, if I sat back and looked on that question, I think that's one of the biggest hangups people have is like the answer to most questions or issues is really fucking simple. It's just, do you actually do it? Do you actually have the discipline to do it? Do you actually practice what you preach? Do you actually go out and do that? Or, you know, like you could sum all those up into like very similar things a lot of times. Yeah. And then now's the fun one. And I hope you really go off and riff in some weird ass fucking direction on this one. Oh, now, JR just gets to give us his 2 cents. Like, you get to give us your 2 cents. Maybe it's something you hoped I would ask you. Maybe it was something you just wanted to say. Maybe it's something just weighing on you. Or maybe it's something that was inspired by something we talked about that you want to, like, just put out there. And you, like, it's weighing on you. Like just give us JR's 2 cents.
2 cents. The economy's hard. I only got 1 cent. No, I'm just kidding. No, 2 cents.
Best answer yet.
Right, that was a good one?
That was a good one.
I'm a little witty sometimes.
It's better than Evan's dad jokes.
I got a lot of dad jokes. My brother on the way here was like, man, you're probably going to tell a bunch of dad jokes and shit. I was like, I'm try not to. But, so after everything that we talked about, and my 2 cents would be, you know, I didn't know I was gonna come on here and it be so much based around Deep Ellum. So anybody watching, you know, it's like, man, just keep supporting like the businesses out there that are just struggling. They're so mom and pop. They need the love. You know what I mean? Like, before you think about going to Buffalo Wild Wings, go to Will Call or
the wings are better.
Well, you know,
that, I'm not saying that because he's sitting next to me.
I'd rather just put money into like
local business.
And don't get me wrong, like I'm not hating on chains because the people that work at chains are local. They live near it. They need to make money. So like I'm not knocking any business at all. But like since like I said, we talked about Deep Ellum so much, go support businesses. Go support music. It's not what the media makes it out to be. You know, once you go out there and have a great time, you'll know that. And us putting together a show and out there would hopefully bring people out as well. And just always just keep your friends in mind that are running small businesses, whether it's bars or restaurants or, you know, contractors, roofers, whatever. Like, just keep those people in mind when you come in those situations because they need it. And you want to support your circle.
Support your village.
For sure. And so that would be my 2 cents. Just keep supporting, you know. There's so many companies out there that need the love, and business is hard, and I'm here anytime anybody wants to message me and ask me for advice on business or wants to start a business or whatever, and I'll probably tell you not to do it. But no, man, I appreciate being on the show. You guys are great, and
no, man, thank you for coming out.
Hopefully,
man.
we can throw something together.
And I hope maybe this sheds some light on some people that like have these dreams or ambitions, whether you want to be a rock star or you want to own your own bar or restaurant, man. Like, these people are out here, man. And if you want to go into will call and you're some young entrepreneur and you want to open up a bar or a restaurant, man, go down to Will Call, go down to Trees, go down to Addison, to the back nine. Where these guys that you guys see on my show, like, they're more than happy to help you, talk to you, have the conversation. Like, they've all done it. Like, you guys hear me talk about it all the time. They're like, I didn't go to college. I've made a pretty good living out of my life and, enjoy what I do. And, you're in the same boat.
I've seen your bar at your house.
Dude, we don't talk about it on here. Like,
pictures. I've seen pictures.
Fuckers.
Haven't been invited yet.
Yeah, you're welcome.
So you didn't go to college. You did something good with your life, because I seen that fucking bar you got at your house, bro.
All right, I appreciate it, man. You are welcome anytime. Anytime you and the missus got some babysitters and y'all want to come hang out, you're welcome in my house.
I do think the Sarahs would like each other, because your wife is very close.
So let's do it. We'll make that happen.
Let me do this. I didn't want to do this online with the camera, but let me just see if there's something I forgot, because people have been hitting me up, so I want to.
You can rock it, man. We got time.
I just want to make sure no one's hitting me up wanting to do something that.
I'm putting in my bed right now. If I want to do an old school hip hop brunch or something. Putting in my bed. I got you.
Sounds good.
Won't cost you nothing.
You should go do a guest set at the common table sometime.
Dude, I've been trying to get up in that joint like forever.
Oh, yeah?
I used to go there for that.
Okay, well, Joe Vega, if you're listening to me and the 2 Cents podcast, hit me up so you can have a guest DJ. I got you, bro.
Yeah, man. See, you guys, like, this is the whole point of this. Like,
networking at its best. I want to do a hip hop brunch somewhere, old school hip hop.
Have a conversation. Support people in your community, man. Like, it's a village, man. Like, I get asked all the time, like, how did you get so and so on your show? How, because I'm social, I network, I support businesses where people are running a good business, people that are like legit about what they are doing with set intentions, and people that are doing big things, man. Like, I mean, you've heard so much tonight of somebody that's like trying to help rebuild and continue to build a place that a lot of people my age love in Deep Ellum. I mean, Deep Ellum is a staple. I mean, like, as much as like, I would like it to be as big as the Stockyards, but I kind of think it is.
Yeah, for sure.
Fort Worth has the Stockyards. Dallas has Deep Ellum. West End does not exist anymore.
We're talking about 25 years of Deep Ellum that we know, but Deep Ellum's been around for 150 years.
Yeah, Deep Ellum goes back, man. Like, it is a staple.
I don't think it'll go anywhere. It just takes that resurgence of people, and it's all good. And while we shouted out all these businesses, though, where you do this podcast, I gotta say, I've made 6,000 of these in my day. It's a good cocktail, so anybody listening, they should come kick it at this place.
Look, see, unsolicited. I tell you all about ICC.
No one told me to say it.
Yeah, I tell you about ICC all the time, and look, like, a guy that slangs mad, badass drinks and owns his own places, telling y'all, like, you can come get a dope ass old fashioned up here.
This is a good one.
And you can smoke a really badass cigar here at ICC.
Cigar was great too.
So shout out to Industrial Cigars.
And the salad he had earlier looked pretty good too.
That shit was banging. So I was quiet for the first 10 minutes.
Yeah,
you wouldn't say nothing over there, man.
He didn't order his Shirley Temple to go with it.
Yeah, that's good.
Man, I have my Coke Zero with my lime and my salad.
There you go.
I'm a simple man.
I like it. I like it. Well, thank you guys, man. I appreciate being here.
No, dude, thank you for coming out and doing the show, man.
Salute.
We really appreciate it, man. Proud to call you one of my friends, man. I really appreciate it. And again, man, Y'all quit believing all the bullshit. If you play stupid games, you will win stupid prizes. If you believe all the bullshit you hear on the news and whatnot, Deep Ellum would sound like it's, South LA. I mean, it's not. Like, but yeah, if you want to hang out there at 2 o'clock in the morning and you get so fucked up that you look like a mark, guess what? You probably are. But if you want to go down with a group of friends and have a good time, right, and you know how to, handle yourself, there is nothing wrong with Deep Ellum. It's the same shit. Like, be an adult. Go enjoy some stuff. Support local businesses. Next week, we're going to do something dope for y'all. If you have been with us from day one, you know about the day one show. Day one show was the Frakes brothers from up here at ICC. And that has no video. Like, video did not work on the very first show. So we call it our Easter egg. It's the Easter egg you can go out there and find if you really want to see the horrible first show that I ever did. It's me and the 3 Frakes brothers, Brandon, Nathan, and Andrew. Not in that order in particular, but, I'm going to get shit about that too, I'm sure. But since we're coming up on the 1 year or the 2 year anniversary of Common Sense Podcast, next week on Thursday, y'all get the Frakes brothers back, and there will be video. Biz will have his shit together, and I don't know how we're gonna do my shit together. What are you saying? I don't know how we're gonna have all these knuckleheads with me in here. Like, maybe for y'all. Maybe we'll just do live from the Apex Lounge. Like, I don't know. Like, we're gonna have to figure this out because I don't think I could fit in here with 3 Frakes brothers. But we're gonna figure it out. But next week you guys get the Frakes brothers. So I appreciate all y'all hanging out with us tonight. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. I hope you learned something. And again, if y'all have questions about any of this, hit me up, hit JR up. He's really good about responding to his Facebook. So, I mean, like, even when I can't get him on text message, like, hit him up on Facebook. He'd be happy to have a conversation with you. So, until next week, peace.